So it's a very short period that's covered by this order. And when I look at the provision in the law, it says that the initial period during which compliance with the requirements referred to in subsections 1A and B, which are the contraction of the economy by more than 1.5% of GDP, maybe so the initial period during which compliance with those requirements may be suspended shall terminate at the end of the financial year following the eventuality. So to my mind, you're selling yourself short, Minister, by having it end in the financial year that we are in and that the calamity occurred. Because it's supposed to be, it should terminate at the end of the financial year following the calamity. This is important because the effects of this are likely to impact the upcoming fiscal year, for sure. We know that tourism, for example, there are many hotels which are not going to come on stream until, midway through next year, and there are many other businesses that have been impacted. Small businesses in particular, where there's a $3 billion allocation, we're told. That's going to take months to work through the system to get the economy back up and running as we want it to be. So I question the period, and there's another reason why it is important that we get that date right, because it says that, and this is a proviso to that same provision, and that provision, Minister, is subsection 4 of section 48C of the Financial Administration and Audit Act, subsection 4. And it goes on to say that where the fiscal commissioner has validated in the prescribed manner that the residual impact of the eventuality means Melissa in this case, is significant enough to warrant the continued suspension of the requirements, the fiscal rules. The suspension of the requirements may be continued for an extended period of one more financial year immediately following the initial period of the suspension. So that would give you 2 years, potentially, plus the period between now and March, during which Jamaica could utilize this envelope, massive envelope of resources that were announced yesterday, to try and get the recovery going without having to constrain expenditure to keep within the fiscal rules. But the way the order is worded, this one expires in March, and then the law only allows you to have one more fiscal year of suspension after that, which I don't think is the...
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show for this Saturday morning, the 6th of December. Some people say the 6th day of Christmas. It's a reason why I remember that day so well enough. But welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. What a table before us this morning. What a table is presented before us this morning. The Lord Jesus Christ anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow Colin Anthony Bell, Shaka fame, all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord Jesus Christ forever and ever. A table. Yeah. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Share up the live. Share it up. This morning, we have our contributors and we have a special guest. And we have you who want to hear from you, because tomorrow, Sunday morning, Talk Jamaica will not be on. You know, we'll start a Sunday morning thing, Talk Jamaica, where we don't bring on a guest on a Sunday morning. It's just you call and talk. But so we have to go facilitate some more call today because we won't be on tomorrow morning. Uh so many things. So I have been always saying to you that we can't just look on the structural damage, but we have to look at the human asset that we have, our people, and how they are affected by the passage of Hurricane Melissa, and how we're dealing with them, how we're treating them. We have to look at it. So, we're going to be joined by Herbert Gill shortly. I know he's traveling, so it's a phone thing, so we're going to do our best. But Dr. Herbert Gill, now, where old people that say I read for him professorship, is a man that studies human being and the social effect of things. So we're going to talk to him this morning. We're going to have Ralston Hyman. We're going to have Conrad O'Brien. And as I say, we have you. Share up the live. We see the people early because the table big enough. Mark Golden,
Yes,
hold on the roster. Mark Golden took Favour Williams and her team to school again. Again. Now, I am saying that this is the second time in a short period of time. Yeah, man, we have Ralston today. That Mark Golden had to school Favour and a bill brought to the parliament. They bring the fiscal order to relax the fiscal order and come with the wrong date, one of the most critical things. So we'll play that, but we have a caller early out of the blocks. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Sabel.
Where you calling from?
I would say Canada.
Canada. Talk to me.
Yeah. We have a serious problem
Where?
in Jamaica.
Oh, you know.
Well, this is what me take as an indicator.
Talk to me.
When I see the Prime Minister go over to the Maroon and engage them in helping them out with the military. The man I use him head, a occupation the man I deal with. Him want deploy the soldier them over there and then all of a sudden his all guns out. The man I use him head.
So you think Richard Curry and the team, we call it because I know Curry alone made the decision, Curry met with the Maroon Commission or the Maroon, I don't remember the name right now. And they came to a decision not to accept the military help, the militarization of a compound.
It's a smart move. Because anyhow them into that, that isn't. It's a smart move they make. Cause anyhow them otherwise, it's a head play. This man is working not off of his own behalf. He's not smart. I'm telling you, he's not. He's craven and thief, but he's not smart. he's working under control. Don't you see this? Look, you're a very intelligent man, as I presume. And if you could look, you would see the playbook. This man has no clue as what he's doing because he's leaving too much breadcrumbs. So at the end of the day, all he's doing is working off of his master's will. He's a puppet. Who give him the idea and the knowledge that you look, if somebody's in a situation like as the people them in Jamaica, what about the people them in St. Elizabeth in Westmoreland? But you leave all of those people with the intent to go all the way over there and send military into that particular zone. Don't you see something is not adding up?
Let me tell you this though. And Prime Minister don't want to see it as a disrespect. Even though me hear the trolls them out and I see it as a disrespect. But you have to understand the Maroons and the occupation or the militarization, when you bring in the military in our area, that they
I stick up. I stick up. I'm telling you, say stick
Oi!
up.
Hey, it might be able the Prime Minister never even think it out that way there, you know. And if you
Because it's
realize
not,
at the first go Corey never said no when the Prime Minister offered it. Him go meet with the
yeah,
council, sit with the elders. And that's why we are telling about Proverbs, I think of 4:14, that says where there is no counsel, the people fall. In the presence
exactly
of
so.
counsel, there is safety.
It's a smart move when I see it because I
So
realize,
when the Prime Minister threw it upon Corey never have him counsels with him because even him security them a try keep her from him. Corey go back to council. And council said, no, we don't want the army, even though a Jamaican them. It's not a British
yes,
army, but no, the militarization of a compound. You see, a lot of people don't respect the Maroons and what the Maroons stood for. And you see, that's the difference. The Maroons were never slaves.
yep,
They held us for a while, but never a day in our mind we had conformed to slavery. So the fact that we never mentally conformed to slavery, the Maroons were never slaves. And that's
never.
why at the first opportunity we take ourselves
Naturally so.
and continue to stand up for our freedom. That's what the Maroon does. And
Yeah, man,
for
yeah,
the
man.
most, as far as we can tough it out and deal with it, we want to deal with it. So, not the military. No.
No, it don't make
No,
sense.
not the military.
That's why I tell you, he's using this. Is not smart. It's people
Corey have
because
him warriors them.
yeah, is
So
that when
a
I
Corey
see
warriors them have to deal with Maroon Town. So give them the money, give them the material, and make them do them
it,
thing. Send the army
perfect,
somewhere else.
yes. So what about where was the army before? No, when the storm just blew and everything was in disarray. Where was the army?
You see, the Prime Minister and the Jamaica Labour Party miss an opportunity. I mean, I'm going to stay along with you because I'm going to go to Herbert Gill
Yes, my
shortly.
lad. No
But
trouble.
they missed an opportunity, you see, where they should have been early in the piece. And if they were early, the kind of attention and the kind of assistance that the government would have gotten if they did step out early. Trust me. Trust me, my brother.
It couldn't be, but it couldn't
But
be
you see,
because
let me
that
tell you
is not
this.
their agenda.
Let me tell you something, and this is from training. Anything that you endure for 6 weeks, yeah? Anything
Yeah,
where you endure for 6 weeks, you can adapt.
naturally.
Naturally you can adapt. So you see right now the people are at a stage where whatever situation we have left them in, they are adapting to it. The youth, them are get tougher, them are get harder.
Yeah,
And at that we will talk to Dr. Gill about.
naturally.
Yeah, man. So we want to listen to Mark Gold in a school, Favor Williams, and then we'll get to Dr. Gill.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right, but
The main issue I want to say about the order is this. The duration of the order, Minister, is that it expires, it's for a period which commenced on the date Melissa hit, October 20th, 2025, and it terminates on March 31 next year. So it's a very short period that's covered by this order. And when I look at the provision in the law, it says that the initial period during which compliance with the requirements referred to in subsections 1A and B, which are the contraction of the economy by more than 1.5% of GDP, so the initial period during which compliance with those requirements may be suspended shall terminate at the end of the financial year following the eventuality. So to my mind, you're selling yourself short, Minister, by having it end in the financial year that we are in and that the calamity occurred, because it's supposed to be, it should terminate at the end of the financial year following the calamity. This is important because the effects of this are likely to impact the upcoming fiscal year, for sure. We know that tourism, for example, there are many hotels which are not going to come on stream until, midway through next year, and there are many other businesses that have been impacted. Small businesses in particular, where there's a $3 billion allocation, we're told. That's going to take months to work through the system to get the economy back up and running as we want it to be. So I question the period. And there's another reason why it is important that we get that date right, because it says that, and this is a proviso to that same provision. And that provision, Minister, is subsection 4 of section 48C of the Financial Administration and Audit Act, subsection 4. And it goes on to say that where the fiscal commissioner has validated in the prescribed manner that the residual impact of the eventuality means Melissa in this case, is significant enough to warrant the continued suspension of the requirements, the fiscal rules. The suspension of the requirements may be continued for an extended period of one more financial year immediately following the initial period of the suspension. So that would give you 2 years, potentially, plus the period between now and March, during which Jamaica could utilize this envelope, massive envelope of resources that were announced yesterday, to try and get the recovery going without having to constrain expenditure to keep within the fiscal rules. But the way the order is worded, this one expires in March, and then the law only allows you to have one more fiscal year of suspension after that, which I don't think is desirable. So I'm suggesting to you, Minister, that you revisit this, take a moment, or maybe more than a moment, to look at it. But I don't think that the order that's before us complies with subsection 4 in its current form. I think the idea, and I was very involved in the drafting of it, so I'm speaking from a position of some knowledge of this, because when the amendments that we're looking at to do with the suspension of the fiscal rules were passed, I was the chairman of the legislation committee of cabinet then, and went through it with a fine-tooth comb with the technocrats from finance. So I'm saying that the intention is definitely that it should last for a year following the fiscal year in which the calamity occurs. And we shouldn't be constrained to have a suspension for a few months till March, and then you only have one more potential year to March 2027 of suspension. So that's my contribution. I'd love to hear from you when you're going to amend the Act to adjust that target, and also to reconsider the deadline or the end of the period, of the initial period, which currently is March 31, 2026, but I think ought to be March 31, 2027. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you.
Listen. I'm going to carry this further because I want to listen. Listen.
Thank you, member. Just a note, I did come to Parliament with speaking notes, a statement on the suspension of the fiscal rules. But I didn't go through that. And in fact, in the statement, it does say for an initial period terminating at the end of the financial year ending March 31, 2027. Yeah, so that was a mistake. Right, the order says that.
You see, and them say Marky G no patriotic. You know that just low this because they wouldn't get 2 years, they'd just get 1 year and about 3 months.
House Leader.
Madam Speaker, as indicated by the Minister of Finance, there is an error in the order. It should be March 31st, 2027. And as rightly pointed out pointed out by the leader of the opposition. So, Madam Speaker, we will. So, Madam Speaker.
Hello, good morning.
Madam,
I never this.
Yeah, man, we have to call. I don't miss your program.
Thank you for watching. I love it.
I don't miss your program and I enjoy listening to Ralston and O'Brien.
Yes.
But I have to call you this morning because I was listening to you on the first caller.
Yes.
And you're not a blogger, you're a talk show host.
I'm a broadcaster. Hold on, don't move,
Broadcaster.
Neville. Hold on, don't move. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Colin.
Hold the call, hold the line. You're next. Yeah, nephew.
And you allow the caller to call the Prime Minister criminal, and you don't ask him to apologize and withdraw.
You did call him criminal?
I sure during the discussion.
I don't know if that slipped by me, nephew. No, you know me not allow them to call the Prime Minister no name, you know. No, it's my Prime Minister, you know.
Thank you.
It's my Prime Minister, so I'm not going to allow them to call him no name certain way, no disrespect on this platform.
The people in East Portland is saying that the newly installed member of Parliament is missing in action.
Well, I can tell you that is not true.
Okay.
Anybody you hear that from, they're not in East Portland. They have people in the East Portland ask for the MP because the MP is not the kind of persona that the other MP used to be. But what I will tell you, nephew, that the MP is on the ground in East Portland and in the Parliament, the People's Parliament. The MP is doing an excellent job. Nobody can. No, the MP has step representation in the Parliament from out of East Portland.
I heard him in the Parliament, but I just tell
But
you
what
is being said out there.
The MP, let me tell you something. The MP, I can tell you that any Friday, the MP that in office.
Mm-hmm.
The MP dip on the road. The MP go Parliament Tuesday, and then he's back in his constituency. He's here on the ground. So anybody will ask for him, no that East Portland.
Just before I go,
Yes.
the Maroon.
Hold on there, don't move. Okay, continue. Go. Oh, may I have that caller there. Yeah. Finish up, nephew. Go ahead.
The Maroon.
Yes.
I believe them have a treaty from England.
Yes, they do.
With Maroon communities, they call it Crownland, something like that.
No, hold on. Let me tell you this. The Maroons are the only people who got reparation from the British. We get some land. Maybe not enough, but we got our land. So the land them with the Maroon and Depan, a Maroon land. We don't pay taxes to the government for them.
That was what I come into, and I believe I've been told that security force and police doesn't really allow to just run on.
Only in certain cases, extreme cases. Only in extreme cases. So does Corey have the right to reject the militarization of a compound? Yes, he does.
Yes. So I believe if Colonel Curry say him meet with him in cabinet, just like how we have a cabinet, and them don't want the military, I think it should be respected.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Just leave it, send him the rest of stuff them and allow him to do him thing with him team.
I think it should be respected.
One question before you go, nephew. Are you aware that the government now accede to JPS?
Repeat that?
JPS will get 8 to 10 years extension on their license.
I heard it. Your program, I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything in the printed media here.
That's why I want to know why they're hiding it. Why are they hiding it? I have a video on the channel. I'm going to go look on it. We call it here at Portland Spice TV that the government will give JPS or have given JPS, whichever one. But I believe that they have given it to JPS already. Based on the government's utterances, we are calling it here at Portland Spice TV. Then give them.
All right, Colin, we talk again.
All right, good. 876-804-7072. Thanks for holding, caller.
Colin.
Yes, sir.
The rebuttal by the finance minister, opposition finance minister, you see?
The opposition finance minister, you mean Julian?
You just play a while ago.
Yeah.
And then the finance minister come and say she had it. Was it written?
No, but brother, watch this. This is the document that needs to be signed. You know, this is the important document. Your notes where you have to speak on. I know the document. So in fact, you should be reading from that document that needs to be signed.
Right.
In your presentation, you should read that document. So a skill the finance minister find like a skill in line. I don't believe she had. What in the document? That is what they had.
Right.
But
so
they
that
can't
means
just admit.
where Mark Golding tell her was written, but she come down and say she had it written, but she forget. That's how you go.
Boy, me can't figure out how she go because them people, yeah? Why they can't just start the truth one time?
No, but the thing is, when we get trying to truth, them are real tricksters. If she read from a paper and she didn't read that, I know Mark Golding tell her the right thing. And she said she had it, but she didn't read it.
But
no lie she tell.
Of course, but can't hear why a lie she tell Pringle. Where Mark Golding read from is the document where she submit to be signed, you know.
Right.
And that a sign and go make law.
Right.
That is the law where she give Mark Golding. And Mark
Golding
tell
her say there's a better way. And she
no,
never do it right.
It's not just there's a better way. Here is the way
right
how to do it, because when you do, you sell yourself short.
1 year by 1 year.
And it's only one more time it can renew for 1 more year.
So you see how they lie?
So she a sell with short 12 months. Then they say them bright.
She a go on like she didn't know that. When Mark Golding tell her the right thing, and she did go on like she didn't know that, and she never know.
So what? They never look on that. They never see that, brother. They miss that totally. Totally miss that. They totally miss it. And just we say, boy, yeah, we missed this. All right. Make we go change it.
All right.
And then, I don't know if you heard them in the Senate yesterday. Marlon Morgan, man. Come on.
Sure.
Why are you afraid of the truth, sir?
You're your friend, man.
I'm afraid.
You're not always happy my come take over your program.
But you see, let me tell you something. I want to hear from the government, and it's the only one that is willing. And I tell people, you know, when you hear the Prime Minister go up there and talk about him not afraid of nobody, the man afraid of the media, the man afraid of the media. The man afraid of the media, like, whoa. Prime Minister, you drive, go all about over the country, go talk to 300 and 200 people, and 400 and 500 people, and 1,000 people. Very few time when you go on a area council and that you have 600 people in there. We have a massive platform, and we are inviting you to come and speak with the people of Jamaica. Answer questions, stop talk to it, and come have a discussion with us, Mr. Prime Minister and the ministers of government.
Hey, listen to me. So my house, then we blow up one government center we did make that Westmoreland. Archulade where you stop it a pipe blow off.
Most things with the roof down at the west, you see, Pringle. And I hear Desmond McKenzie said the
parish council building. Well,
no, it's not the parish council building. It's the infirmary. So the infirmary, him say poor workmanship.
Right, the roof blow off.
Most building down there with the roof, either lose them roof or them roof damage. On the slab roof, them, me not think 10% are roofs with zinc where in the area them are destroy. Not get damage, you know. On the concrete roof, you know. So, yeah.
So tell me, He might go and do an investigation on the infirmary roof because of faulty construction.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that's why I'm saying.
Here, on the news, we have a lot of new developments.
Of course.
Then roof gone to.
Tell
So you need to get the contractor, then we make them the house and do an investigation to it can be faulty construction in there. You can't blame him enough.
Of course. That's how him see, what him think. That's so his opinion, and him is in the position to get the investigation done. Morning, everybody. Morning. Welcome.
So if him go do investigation on the infirmary, the house them we make with the house them blow off in need to get the contractor them and do an investigation on them the too.
Let me tell you something.
That's all.
Them people, yeah, dangerous.
Anyway, later.
Blessings, my brother. One love. Pringle that. 876-804-7072. We're trying to get to Dr. Gale. As I said, we know that he's on the road, he's traveling. So we know the phone thing them not so proper. So if we try call him and not get him, I just saw it go. But we have to look. Open our eyes, people. I'm going to show you something this morning. When me telling you say GPS, we are call it because we see it. GPS, I get 8 to 10 years. Morning, caller.
Hello, Colin.
Bless up and welcome.
You know what? When I call you this morning, I call you before you talk to Ralston, and because I have a pick at you and Ralston. You know, when I call to defend our honorable Prime Minister.
Boy, I love that. I love that.
Yes, because
but
so
just before you get into your defense, please make you do it respectful and have data. Go right ahead.
I know, Colin. When I call your show, I just dash a rock stone, lick down a wasp nest, and rake up a ant's nest. I will never call your show and use any disrespectful term to anyone.
That's all right, man. Make we go in it. Go in it.
I'm above that. So
all right, go right.
I'm not going to hold up your show. I'm going to just say some things and let the rest of callers come and clear up things, you know.
So
I want to ask you a question.
So you just want to have a monologue? Go ahead with your question.
I just want to say something and I'll go. And I don't hold up your
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Colin, you know them have some dog. Some thief in dog. That if you throw food, give them, they're not going to take it. Them walk away and come back, come thief the food where you give them. That's a thief in dog.
Yeah, I've seen those.
All right. Next one. Colin, if a man tell a lie and you repeat the lie, isn't it still a lie?
Yes, I.
Not because it's you repeat it.
Still a lie.
Okay. And you know, my honorable Prime Minister, you know that he's a Christian man.
Well, I hear him say,
and the reason why he's in power, you know, is because there are more Christians in Jamaica than sinners.
You think so? You think that's why I'm in power?
So, yeah. Why? Right, Colin, and because he's a honorable Christian, that's why he's there.
Yeah.
Okay, next thing I want to ask you is to be a respectable man the way how you look.
No.
Oh, well, you know, it's viewed in some sense like that in our country. You know that?
That is how you look that makes you a respectable man?
It's viewed like that in some circles in Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, I didn't want to burn a fire on you. I want to touch on you, the Prime Minister, and Curry. But since...
Say your thing, man. Talk your thing.
Yes. Since Since the truck come for you and Ralston, we're going to dash OB in it too. All right, here we are now, Colin, with our honorable Prime Minister. So I respect a sensible labor right like me. Want to tell you, Ralston and O'Brien, that we know that what you're saying is true. But you can't just come to the public and say it like that. You need to call us off the air. Because you're not going to make us look good by doing that publicly, Colin. Come on, man. Yeah, you throw it at us in the crowd like that.
But we don't have the Prime Minister number. We want to call the Prime Minister. We want to interview him. The people needs the information.
No, but you can't come in the crowd and throw it out here like that. We're not gonna accept it, Colin. Right, you got to call us off the air. Remember, if you didn't call Mr. Voss off the air,
everything gonna be all right.
It will play out like that. Come on.
Yes, I am.
Colin, you know that when you get something inside of you, it's hard to come out. The reason why I want to hear Corey this morning.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if we did go down there, when the soldier go in, Colin, nobody can get them out,
Tell her.
They already in.
Set up a base.
And our Prime Minister is a very smart guy. You see, you have to show him respect.
Yeah, he's smart, but he's not clever.
If Corey did call him and refuse those aid, Colin,
it would be better.
We hear how it's working.
Yes.
I hear Corey because I think Corey is 10 steps ahead, Colin.
10 steps ahead of them.
Because when Corey
said
it publicly, you can't tell any lie on him. Yeah.
Carla, in the absence of counsel, the people fall. Where there is counsel, there is safety. The Bible said that.
We know you guys right, Colin. That's why I know our honorable Prime Minister is my Prime Minister too, and would it be fair to say he's your Prime Minister too?
Oh yes, he's my Prime Minister. My Prime Minister.
I'm a sensible labor, right,
Little more later.
All right, cool.
Bless up.
All right, cool, Colin. Yes.
Hallelujah. You see, I'm going to tell you something. We are saying to the Prime Minister that we hear your argument about falsehood and lies being told out there. Is it that you people are telling the lies and expect us to be in agreement with it? We're not. We agree now. Carla, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning and welcome.
Okay. I've tried to get you all along the other day, but I was so busy.
I saw it go sometime, But you're on now.
Okay.
Where you calling from?
Okay. I'm calling from Lloyd's BEEL in St. Catherine.
Bless up and welcome. Now, Crawford constituency this.
Yeah.
Man. Talk to me.
Okay, I was just listening to that gentleman and I was just laughing. And I feel so sorry for him because, the Labour really don't like to hear the Prime Minister get so much embarrassment. But the Prime Minister is embarrassing himself.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
now listen
I was
to that man they do, That man
talking about down.
That man they are not Labour, right? Now listen to him.
Okay. I was just talking about Curry, down by Curry there.
Yeah.
And I was listening to one part of the Prime Minister one at the time when I think Curry said to him, I thought you're afraid of us. Or I hear that you're afraid of us.
No, man, you say you're not coming here.
Yeah, and him say, you must be crazy. something like that.
I go
You must be
anywhere.
out of
I
your
go
mind.
everywhere in Jamaica.
Yeah, I was out of your mind. I go everywhere in Jamaica.
Yes.
So I believe that he was just telling Curry, say, watch here. Me control everywhere in Jamaica. So no matter what you want to say. So I believe that's why he decided to send soldier down there to do the work. And I don't think he should really do that. And I was so happy about that when Curry just come out and say, watch here. We don't need the military. You know, if we just learn to stand up like Curry, you know, I think the Prime Minister will do much, much better.
All right.
And then again, with favors and PR foolishness, I don't think she's really, really fit. I think the Prime Minister is doing the job for her. And that's why she don't know a lot of things. I just feel like, say, she don't need that position because she can't answer to us. She don't know nothing. I don't know. I just don't rate her for that purpose. I think they should replace her. Because she's not going to do a good job with this hurricane and this money system and a lot of things. So I heard you say about JPS now and this money. Because a lot of things I concern over, you know. This money thing about JPS. Then if JPS really get the 10 here, what about the money that me hear them discuss where I go come from the IMF and how much millions in there for the JPS? Is that money still stand?
Yes, JPS is going to get $450 million. I am also saying that JPS, I don't know if they get no money from the government yet, but legally, based on what Darlene Morrison said at the PAAC, JPS shouldn't have gotten any money from the government yet. And I am saying shouldn't because we don't know if them get, but there are some monies that is now made available by the multilaterals. And if you remember what Darrell Vaz said, the multilaterals said they would give the money, but JPS have to get 8 to 10 years. So now that the multilaterals are giving them the money, we are now confirming that JPS must be getting that 8 to 10 years. But we talk again. Let's leave it right there.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Blessings.
Okay.
876-804-7072. This is the Colin Bell Show. Morning.
That JPS must be getting that.
Turn off the instrument in the background. Turn off your TV or your Alexa or your radio. Turn it off.
Listening meantime. Yeah, man. May I go turn it off?
All right.
Off. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Hold on for me. Don't hang up. Hold the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Colin.
Yes, Marshy.
Morning. Me not so versatile on the English language. But when we listen to Favor, and she said something about the $150 wills, like with the JPS will pay back or give it back.
Yes. I have the clip. I can play it and we'll listen to what she said.
So if you can give back something that you never get?
Hello! Hey! But you hear what the financial secretary said? The negotiations are on the way, Crawford says, so they are not yet closed. No, they are not yet closed.
You know, me want Darrell Vaz. You can't bring him to the front of the class.
Boy, you know how much time I send Darrell message inviting him to this platform?
And nephew, if you are hearing, well, nephew, you listen. You ask about the MP for East Portland. You find out if the MP for West Portland is missing.
Me here say no go West Portland from the hurricane. Is that true, Darrell, that you have not been in your constituency since the hurricane? Something goes up, nothing can go so. I don't believe
you want me to tell you something, Colin? Yeah. You see when dog got chased another dog?
Yeah.
And chase him and he would bark, you know. You see when they catch him? When they catch him, I just nab him up.
Boy.
Me want to know something about this JPS thing. Darrell Vaz, you need to come talk to we. Are you winding up your mouth, you know, Darrell?
Marshy, you believe Mr. JPS get the extension?
Of course.
Darrell, where Darrell said no Melissa, no Trelisa, no Tresisa, no Denisha, Denika, can't make him.
We want to know if you can give back something where you never get. Favor, come to. That's why I say, you know, me rate Desmond McKenzie over Favor because Desmond McKenzie will talk foolishness, but you will hear what he said. And a man touched a topic a while ago, and me asked the question somewhere else. The building at Savlamar, where Desmond McKenzie go down there and say shabby workmanship, why the hurricane mash it up? What happened to the house them? Where the place them? Edgemanville? And Desmond use a word. Instead, what Melissa do is to show or lift up them skirts and show the shabby workmanship. No, Melissa not lift up the house them down that and show the cardboard they use. Build the house them.
That is it.
Desmond McKenzie. Heaven help us all. Later,
Marsha, we have a caller holding. Yes, my lady. Thanks for holding. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, Colin. Colin, when you sit down and you really overlook everything, what a whole heap of something just happened one time.
Hey,
you see where US gone now with the dual citizenship? You see what happened? Jamaica people. Wanna wake up. Then again, I must commend Mr. Curry for the stance that he took. Because anyhow, he did accept anything from Andrew Holness, calling rebuilding. And that's how they when him sending the army upon them down there. So he was one step ahead of them, or 10 steps ahead of them.
Yes.
Thank God. Thank God. He's smart. Because it wasn't pretty. Andrew always come up with some little things, you know. And he have those who are supporting him and pushing him like Babs the Grinch. You see? And I saw him go around with him little tricky things them to fool people. Right now, we need him to come out and tell the Jamaican people exactly the truth and what is going on, because the pictures, the videos are showing how the people need help, and he's saying people are lying on him. Come out, no man. Come out, sir. Come out, come talk to the people. Always. You see what the third term do? People want to see what the third term do on voting the crisis. Look what happened to Jamaica now. Then I believe, I will go with you, Colin, that perhaps the JPS has gotten the money already.
Look here.
Because if they increase them time, what about 8 to 10 years? Yeah, they must go give them the money. They must get it already or get most of it already.
Look here. This JPS discussion, they're hiding from us. They are hiding from us, right? Because I'm going to tell you something. If we are to believe the FS, the Financial Secretary, Darlene Morrison, that the deal is still being negotiated, and then you hear the Minister of Finance where she say, don't worry about it, we'll get back with money, because JPS I get 450 million. No. How much JPS said them did want? Because if you realize, you know, the figure that Darrell Vaz gave us in the parliament, the OUR said JPS want between 360 and 390 million. That's what the OUR told us in the PAAC. So appear like the man them tell you. And
going
him said 350.
Yes, them going
so
around.
Obviously JPS now taking the 150 from them. It's 450 million JPS I get.
One time.
Oh, you mean? Then that the man they want. And that they have to get. So the government had to bow to JPS. We told you that JPS at the angle.
And I believe light bill will be increased. Moving on.
You
and
better.
That increase they are going to use to pay back the money.
Then know you
Watch it coming.
Don't you mean? He not gonna other way.
Light bill are going to increase.
And
And
we
the
are gonna
same
pay it
people,
back.
them are going to pay back them. Oh, what kind of... When you look into the whole thing, you know,
Listen.
the people, them lick them head, you know.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Imagine them get the money. And them are going to lend it back to JPS.
No, and them are...
And
Oh,
then
yo, hold on.
light bill.
Hold on. Because we know in the misleading part, and of them are lend no money to JPS. The government not lending JPS any money. That's what we were thinking going to happen. JPS is getting the money now from the multilaterals. So JPS are get them own loan. The minister, when Zara Burton asked her, I'm going to play it for you? Hold on. I want to play it for you. I want to play it for you.
So why them didn't make it look in the first instance like the 150 million was coming from that money that was given
Listen
to
to
them
this.
from the insurance? Why did they make it look like that in the first place then?
Hold on. Listen. Listen this.
The question about the loan to JPS, is the government prepared to lend the entire amount? I think that was your question.
Yes.
So the loan to JPS was 150 million US dollars so that they could accelerate the pace at which Jamaicans get their lights back, at which businesses get their light back. Madam Speaker, already I could say to you, you don't have to worry that the government is going to lend the entire amount, right? Already our international partners have indicated that within that package that's announced, there is about 450 million for JPS. And what that will do is allow for our loan of 150 million to be repaid back to us, so we get back the liquidity. It didn't happen last Tuesday.
So that mean they did give JPS the money already?
Yes, right. They got the money already. And remember the deal is say negotiating is ongoing. Right. Them get the money already.
Then hear this. Then you need to know
the allocation.
Give us a sense of the magnitude of that program.
Okay, and then my last question is loan to JPS. The 150 million US dollar loan, I know you mentioned yesterday that based on what they needed within the money that we are going to be getting from the international community, there is an allocation for JPS to also get part of that. I think the overall amount I need, correct me if I'm wrong, is maybe 300 million US, I think I heard it said. So they're getting an extra maybe 150 million from this package. And I just wanted to know, since they couldn't get, or the argument was that they couldn't get loans on their own prior to coming into this situation because they didn't get the extension on their license, I wanted to know if now that they're getting this money from the international donors, if that loan was gotten based on a guarantee from the Jamaican government, which would then maybe add to our overall debt. I just wanted to get a clarification on that.
Okay, so remember, in the 6.7 billion that was announced, 2.4 billion of that was earmarked for private sector lending. So any amounts to JPS would be in that window out of the 2.4.
So we don't have to guarantee that debt at all?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, I wonder if you know here.
Hey.
You hear all of that,
so
no?
The balance of the money, apart from the 150 million, come from the international community.
No, them all get back. You know, you should say in the first clip, them all get back that money there in the first clip. They are getting it back. So that means, as Marshall rightfully say, you can't get back something you never get. So obviously they gave it. Hold on, the teacher. Obviously, they would have given that money to JPS already.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To get the money. The money gone, man. It's gone. Them hand it over already.
We're going to run. We're going to talk to Raleigh.
one little something.
Quick
You
and
see
fast.
what happened? Me not go into it. You see what happened now? Andrew go funeral, Babsy take over because the other man sick, and then with WikiLeaks him could even dead so whether them they do surgery yes or no. You know see what happened? Bill Clinton down there now. We know who Bill Clinton is.
Little more.
And we know what happened with the 80.
Little
All
more.
right, let me left it right there, so.
Call me back after me talk to Raleigh.
Call back?
After me talk to Raleigh, you can call me back.
If me can't get you, because boy, may I tell you, it's not easy to get you. But that, don't let so, and them not include the PMP, none at all. All right.
Yeah, I tell Andrew little more how to include the opposition, because him say him not figure out how to include the opposition yet. Little more. Little more. I tell you now. A peer joker go on around there, no? Major clown show. I run at Jamaica. We have Raleigh on the line. Raleigh, morning.
Morning. Well gone.
My day, my brother. How you do?
Yeah, man. Good, man. Up and running.
Up and running, sir. Whole heap of things step on the line. And I heard you yesterday giving a lesson to the finance minister of how you deal with the measurement and your GDP in a disaster.
Yeah, man.
Now, Raleigh, we were saying that the government should give JPS the extension and make JPS go look the money.
Yeah, man.
Based on the utterance, you think that has been done?
Yeah, it sounds so.
So why would the government not just come announce that and make
you know them say, man, them run the country like them personal business, you know. So them no want to come and talk them things there, yeah? And when people ask them questions, them say a bad mind, or them things, because them run the place like them personal fiefdom.
So we now learn that the government not really getting 6.7 billion US, but just about 3.6.
3.6 billion.
So why they coined it that way? 6.7 billion. Why was it coined that way?
Because them always are trying like to the people, man. Because them want to get the impression to them great. So when the Prime Minister announced it, he must say, great, that couldn't happen 30 years ago. Yeah? And we couldn't get them concessional money there 30 years ago. The only time we couldn't get money from the international capital markets are between 2012 and 2013.
And unless the people miss it, I want to hear the Prime Minister. I want to listen to this.
Yeah, man.
But here's the problem now, Madam Speaker. How do we borrow? If it were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we would not be able to approach the IFI. We wouldn't even be able to approach the international community. But
Raleigh, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we couldn't approach the international community. 20 years ago was what? 2005. What was Jamaica's economic position 20 years ago, Raleigh?
20 years ago, we could get money to borrow from the international community. At that time, we weren't even borrowing from the IMF because we paid off the IMF. We never went back to the IMF until 2010, when Andrew was the leader of government business in the House of Representatives in the Bruce Golding government. And they never even know which agreement, but them take a full agreement and couldn't live up to the terms and conditions. And man, they locked out of the international capital market. So since Peter Phillips come now, we can get back and make our name back in the international capital market. And we can tell all of the trolls them, check IMF, check World Bank, check the ratings agency, and make them tell you when this thing started, when Jamaica became welcome back in the international capital market and who started. And while we were doing that, this same foolish Minister of Finance, Andrew Wallace, them used to say, all we had to pass IMF test and now pass the people's test. Sign anything with the man them tell us to sign. Yeah. That's the history, and them to the tools them can check it on any of the international agencies.
Wait, hold on. We have been joined by Conrad O'Brien, but your background kind of noisy. There's some noise in your background. Sort it out for me. Raleigh. Was there a time outside of that period under Bruce Golding that Jamaica could not approach the multilaterals?
No. No.
So,
I want to see what the Prime Minister, our next lie will tell is about concessional funding. Multilateral funding is always concessional funding because that is where them set up for. IMF money, World Bank money, always money between 1% and 4%, not more than 5%. So I this matter.
So you are saying that the Prime Minister, hold on there. May I play it again when the Prime Minister said this?
Madam Speaker, how do we borrow? If it were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we would not be able to approach the IFI. We wouldn't even be able to approach the international community. But
so 30 years.
The only time that was 13 years ago. Garbage.
So let's go back to 30 years ago, which would be what, 1995?
Yeah.
What was
in 1995 to show the Prime Minister out of touch, and that's why he shouldn't be around the country, because I don't know about the country.
Tell him.
In 1995, we paid off the IMF. Omar Davies, PJ Partners paid off the IMF and said, ta-ta. Omar Davies passed 12 consecutive IMF tests. The JLP administration and Mr. Seaga couldn't pass a full IMF program. Rubbish.
Hold on there. So the Prime Minister said 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we couldn't approach the multilateral. Conrad O'Brien, morning.
Good morning, Colin Bell. Good morning, Ralston Hyman. How are you doing? And to all the listeners and viewers, I greet you all in the mighty name of Jesus Christ this morning, because he continued to cover us. Listen, Raleigh and Colin, is it that the Prime Minister is just blatantly lying to our people, or is it that the Prime Minister don't know these things? The Prime Minister is not appraising himself of what is happening, because certainly we're at a conundrum. We're hearing things that should be on the lips of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister should know why the Prime Minister is saying that these are so. Because when you hear even the utterance, Raleigh and Colin, about the 30 years ago and 20 years ago, we could not approach when we didn't even have a borrowing relationship, because PJ Patterson and Omar pay off the IMF and said, ta-ta. Talk to me.
So 20 years ago, 2005, we weren't borrowing from the IMF. So we would definitely be in good standing. We could have just approached them.
Yeah, man.
So why the Prime Minister come around now? Tell these kind of lies.
By the way, to show the Prime Minister out of touch and lie. Adley Shaw used to say, Omar Davies just take up him phone now at the Ministry of Finance and call him friend and get money to borrow. That was one of the criticism we had of Omar Davies.
Yes. Hold on, let me see who they're on this call. Hold on. Hello, good morning.
Yes, Colin, how you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, man, morning to your listener. So, actually, I'm listening to the conversation. I appreciate them, but it's mind-boggling for me as well, as a hard-working, tax-paying citizen. So I think these questions that are being asked, they need to be answered properly. The government need to be available to answer these questions. Because you would appreciate that we're going to pay back these large sums. So the question for me is that keeps it in my mind at the time, since the whole conversation and narrative around JPS and statement. So for me, JPS says the restoration is at 80%, right? Complete. Yet the company now needs what? 350 million to assist with restoration.
Well, the OUR said 390 million. 360 to 390. That's what the OUR said.
And the numbers keep moving. And I'm watching the PAC. They're not able to give us granular information, large numbers. I move on to say this as well.
All right, so me just take your call because I thought you had a question for Ralston, because we now keep Ralston long. Ralston is on the road, so we just want to talk to Ralston. So
okay. Right.
Thought you had a question for him. So the fact that you do have a question for him, we'll go back to him and then you can call him back, all right?
No problem, because I want to listen to Ralston.
Yeah, man.
Colin.
Yeah, Raleigh.
Colin. The caller just now mentioned something, and you talk about the OUR, about the percentage in terms of the restoration of the country that JPS is saying. Yesterday, the headline of one of the dailies state that the OUR cannot verify the information that the JPS is giving up because they don't have the capacity in terms of manpower and so on. Colin, that is telling. Raleigh, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, well, most of those institutions now the kind of people that is needed, to run those places. Most of those public sector institutions are letting down the country. Yeah, man.
But shouldn't,
so that's another thing we need to review.
Shouldn't it be a case though that they employ the necessary manpower, technology on a need to basis? They wouldn't have to keep it all.
Yeah, man. If they must serve the country properly, they must do that.
Right. So why is it that the JPS went down? You had an experience with Hurricane Beryl just last year. You should have known, sir, from JPS go down. You employ the necessary manpower for the time specified to deal with the gathering of that kind of data.
But remember, but Raleigh and Colin, by way of question, could the OUR unilaterally go on and take on those extra person that they would need, or this would have to basically be collaborated with the government by way of budgetary
support? They need budgetary support for them things.
You need absolutely collaboration, Obi, but somebody have to approach somebody. So if the OUR was firing or the government was firing on all cylinders, somebody should have said, listen, we can't just take GPS word, or we're not going to just take GPS word. We have to do an audit as well to verify what it is that GPS is giving to us. So
here's the problem. Here's the problem with those institutions. OUR people are paid by the utilities people, you know. And them fund OUR, you know. JPS, Water Commission, and the telecoms company.
And they would want to tell you, no, we get funding from a fee taken from the bill.
Yep.
But the needs still be, and it just keeps opening up a can of worm every time they go to the PAC. More things come out showing the incompetence that is out there.
Yeah, man, right across the public sector and central government.
Ralston, I want you to explain this money because they try to tell the government, the people, that it's 6.7 billion. Now we understand that it's 3.6 plus another 700 million that the country had as a disaster insurance kind of plan.
Yeah, man.
Now,
go ahead.
The 2.4 billion, Raleigh, explain that to the listeners and viewers for us. How that 2.4 billion?
So the loan amount from the multilateral agencies, IMF, World Bank, CDB, Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, and IDB is 3.6 billion. And then them say them agree with 12 million in grants. And then IDB and World Bank said them are helping to mobilize 2.4 billion in private sector investment. Right. Now, if you look at the record, the tourism can go up on the BOJ website. Net foreign direct investment flows fell from 854 million in 2017 to 204 million last year. So there's no surety that we are going to get that kind of money in this kind of environment filled with uncertainty created by Donald Trump. So get that.
So you are saying that, and at any time in our history have we ever gotten this amount of foreign direct investment?
No.
Never. What is the highest we have ever gotten?
$1 billion in the 2006, 2007 when Omar was there.
We get $1 billion. And was that about the time when we had the Spanish invasion?
Yeah, man. Omar PJ. Yeah.
Now, one of my concern, this government, for quite a number of years now, have not been able to spend their capital budget.
Yep.
A little bit of money. This is a massive turn up from that. The government has never shown us that kind of ability. What do you expect going forward, Ralston and then Obi?
Strangely enough, the financial secretary said the capital budget for this year will be cut by 2.2 billion to 55 billion. So although we have hurricane and them still cut the capital budget, and you can bet them not going to spend all of that. Where the Prime Minister now say procurement will be subjected to AI. So let's see.
Procurement will be subjected to AI.
Well,
I don't know. So AI are going to determine if everything is in line.
Yeah, man.
How will I say?
Obi. That was my say yesterday.
Hold on there. Obi, go ahead.
I'll urge the PM to be careful there, because even in the great United States, they are questioning as to whether or not they are going too far with this AI scenario. So let's pencil that down. As it relates to the capital budget spent over the years, and we have to use the template that there. We have seen nothing in train to show that, listen, we will have a better spend this time around, even with the hurricane there. Granted, there might be something, but we have not seen that as yet. But I want to just detain Raleigh one moment, and the point with the 2.6 billion that is by way of investment mobilization. Raleigh, I want you to stay there a little bit more and explain that to our people, because this is not guarantee money. It's not a loan that is there that we are to draw down. It's about persuasion and trying to get people. And you have just said that the last year what we had 300 and something thousand. That's a million, rather.
Million.
200 million. That's a far cry. That's a far cry from 2.6 billion US dollars. Yeah. So I think we need to just, needle that in a little bit. Let that sink in.
I need to point out something though.
Right.
With JPS drawdown being 450 million, that means JPS alone will be taking $450 million of that private sector loan. Raleigh, is that so?
Yeah, man. If that happens.
Well, that's what the minister said.
Well, let's see.
But let me play what the minister said, Obi. Because the minister said, listen what the minister said. Hold on. Listen what the minister said. Let's go to the minister. Right to the minister.
Of that program.
Okay, and then my last question is loan to JPS. The $150 million US loan, I know you mentioned yesterday that based on what they needed within the money that we are going to be getting from the international community, there is an allocation for JPS to also get part of that. I think the overall amount I need, correct me if I'm wrong, is maybe 300 million US, I think I heard it said. So they're getting an extra maybe 150 million from this package. And I just wanted to know, since they couldn't get, or the argument was that they couldn't get loans on their own prior to coming into this situation because they didn't get the extension on their license, I wanted to know if now that they're getting this money from the international donors, if that loan was gotten based on a guarantee from the Jamaican government, which would then maybe add to our overall debt. I just wanted to get a clarification on that.
Okay, so remember, in the 6.7 billion that was announced, 2.4 billion of that was earmarked for private sector lending. So any amounts to JPS would be in that window out of the 2.4.
So we don't have to guarantee that debt at all?
No.
Okay.
So you're a Raleigh. Anything JPS I get, I come out at the 2.4.
Yeah, man.
And that's why we have signed off on the whole thing that JPS has gotten the extension. Because remember, the minister said in his speech that JPS wanted 15 years and them would have find the money, or the multilateral will give them the money, but them have to get 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, man. The World Bank and IDB, man, them said 8 to 10 years. Yeah, so more than likely, them agree to that. If the man will raise the money for them.
That's what them say. That's what the minister
said.
Any money where JPS get a come out at the 2.4. OB having a different view?
No, that's my view, Colin, and I must commend you because obviously you have called it. Of course, we have called it early in the piece that this seems to have signed off by the JPS indeed have already gotten this money. Remember that the night, the said day when Vaz went off into a charade in the parliament, he basically assured us that he have pen in hand to sign off on the $150 million the same evening, and that JPS would get it. So just to add to what you said earlier, Colin, JPS seems as if they would have already gotten that $150 million even before this was concluded. Would I be correct to say that, Raleigh?
You would have prior knowledge that's why that's what they were doing.
That good.
But Raleigh, here's the question. Could the government have given JPS that $150 billion or access to it, even though the financial secretary told us that the negotiation is still ongoing?
Yeah, but they're not going to tell you the truth.
Tell her!
Yeah, so naturally you had prior knowledge that them have this agreement going. Remember, so the Prime Minister said negotiate it as confident.
Yeah,
but
maybe Darrell never know. Because remember Darrell in the parliament and said no Melissa, no Trelisa, no Tresisa, no Shelisa. Can't make him change his mind.
Yeah, I mean, I said him said that because he knows them are mobilize the money.
Yeah. So it was to kind of carry us wide, but he would basically be in the loop that they were mobilizing. Raleigh, since we're trying to get the information out as much as possible for our people, the 2.1 billion then that would be remaining out of this.
No. Hold on, Obi. It's not 2.1. It's 450 million GPS are getting up.
Oh, sorry. So how much?
Call it roughly 1.99.
Yes. So that amount that would left Raleigh, what would be some of the things that would be needed to be done by government here in Jamaica in terms of the nimble government that we are saying we need to have at this time for that additional amount to be picked up and to be used in the Jamaican economy?
All right. So one, the finance minister would have to demonstrate a greater level of competence so that investors become confident. Two, they would have to rehabilitate the infrastructure as quickly as possible. Those are two main things that the investors will look for. Confidence, infrastructure. Yeah, the power grid will have to be up and running to them three things there. Telecoms grid will have to be up and running to. Yeah. So they will have to rehabilitate the infrastructure. And the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister will have to demonstrate a greater level of competence. Yeah, because the things that must shadow make the world scared right now.
And one must also remember, Raleigh, that the point that you just touched there is very, very important, because one must remember that the telecom sector is dependent on JPS, because as the young lady you had yesterday in your program, who is the chief communicator from Flow, said that they are certainly tracking behind JPS because they depend on JPS to roll out for them to follow.
Raleigh, the company that provides us with LNG, you remember their name off the bat now? Some money that Fortress?
New Fortress. Yeah, man, New Fortress.
That provides us with LNG. Are you picking up that there's any issue with them? And are you picking up only that there is a high demand for LNG and the price for LNG will be going up shortly? Are you picking up any of that in the financial space?
Yeah, man. But it's still the cheapest. So what things where they will have to do to inspire more confidence is to stop this thing with the ship out there and try have more LNG storage on land in Jamaica. That's another problem with investors. Because every time we have a natural disaster in terms of a hurricane or a storm, them have to move the ship and put in a safe harbor. And that means JPS have resort to expensive diesel fuel and them things to run the line, creating a big problem. So that's one thing them have to look forward to, taking the thing from the ship and bring more storage on land in order to inspire more confidence.
I want you this week, Raleigh, or next week, look at that company, because there are some things coming on the radar that company is coming under some pressure.
Yeah, man.
As it relates to their finances. The other thing, Ralston, is that this money that we are going to take from the IMF, and what a lot of people missing out, it is not to invest in new projects. It is to build back what was destroyed. How much out of that can the government put into investment into new areas to ensure that we have a growing economy when we start taking this money?
All right, so the IMF money is to balance and payment support. That have to pay for the thing that we import. The IMF money not used to that. So take out for 415 million out of the 2.6 billion. That left 2 billion and change. The IDB and the World Bank said their money there of the specific projects identified by the government.
Yes.
Yep. So we, the opposition, the private sector, other people, them cannot allow the government alone to identify these priority projects. So we need priority projects in building out infrastructure, rural infrastructure. We need priority projects in terms of building out alternative sources of energy policy, rural infrastructure, agriculture, which includes storage and all of them something there. Yeah, logistics, and the creative industry. Those are things that we need right now if we are going to accelerate growth and don't put back our children into slavery in order to pay back this money. So we can allow them to choose the priority projects because they're clueless.
Just before you come in, Obi, at what time, Raleigh, at what time period should the government make the country aware of the projects that they have on hand? Because the Prime Minister said them have projects.
Tomorrow. Should I do it already? Tomorrow. The quicker you move, the better.
Raleigh, thanks, Colin. Raleigh, we talk about the rebuilding process because like COVID, what happened when they were talking about how much the economy grew, we know that there wasn't any real growth in the economy. What was happening is that we were just building back capacity. And it is a similar thing that is going to happen now. Are you still of the view that the place to start from is what we describe as ground zero, and that is why the whole business of block and steel and concrete would be important for us to start there so that we could see the value added, the multiplier impact from this? Would you suggest that we start there in earnest?
Yeah, man, and that is why all Jamaicans must object to the move by the government to import containerized houses from China. A, all the experts will tell you those things are not climate resilient. Even a category do cannot set them and blow them in the sea. That's one. B, the same foreign exchange we borrow, we are wasted and import things what we could have made in Jamaica. C, the contractors and the builders in Jamaica are here ready. So if you want to get the economy up and running, you should have started with the man them already and start build those houses in those places to create work for the man them who live in them places there because the man them tired of charity. So we should have to create work for the tradesman them in them places there and have the local contractors. So it have a multiplier effect on the economy and you start moving faster. What am I doing now? I use the same money work for borrow to build up foreign country and give people work at foreign rather than Jamaican people. Rubbish.
But Raleigh, shouldn't that be a major outcry?
Yeah, man. That's why I said the whole way have to cry out. Yes. You have to notice that the master builders and the construction people have been putting out statements about that, but Jamaica not supporting them. Everybody's silent.
And we're not really in the opposition either.
No. Everybody silent.
But isn't this a crazy move just before you come in, Obi?
Madness.
This is a
Madness.
crazy
We just
crazy
borrow foreign
move.
exchange and then I send it out back. I'm rubbish the matter here.
Go ahead, Obi.
That's the point, and I'm going to be bold this morning. I expect to hear this carrion call from leader of opposition Mark Jefferson Golden, Marky G, led and Julian, and followed in a big way by his 3 members of parliament, five members of parliament in the west, the extreme west, or 6 in the extreme west. They Hanover two in Hanover, the 2 beautiful ladies in Hanover, Nikki, and of course the 3 gentlemen there in Westmoreland, Campbell, Hales, and Vaz. I expect them to be calling. Just one sec before you come in there, Colin. I spoke to engineer Dr. Burgess, and Wednesday I had him as my guest, and you also had him, Colin. He said that if we start now, we could build out between 3,000 to 7,000 houses per month because we have the capacity to do that. Permanent housing solution for our people.
Them come to that work already. And
absolutely.
Income. Yep. And the shop them would have run and all of them things there. And the government will be able to collect more GPT and them. They don't know what them doing. And that's why I must stop make them battery up. Them don't know what them doing.
No, we're not surrender to no government badness. We are taught the truth, no matter who the guy is. That's our mantra.
I am going to make a commitment. Tomorrow, the NEC of the People's National Party meet, and I am a member of the NEC, and I am going to present the case on the floor of the NEC and ask for a buy-in of the opposition to say it loud. That we should not, and I know that they are members because I know that the MP from East Portland does not support containerized housing. And no Jamaican should support it.
The technical experts in construction don't support it either.
Exactly.
So I have to go there with them man they say. Yep. Yes. And I'm saying from an economic standpoint as an expert, it's a waste of foreign exchange. All they do is create jobs for the people in the countries we are imported from, rather than create jobs for the man them down west who are work. The carpenter them, the mason them, the steel man them, the man them who sell weed, the man them who sell Guinness, God the site them down there should have run already.
The first project that this government must do is to build out the housing stock and use that to cause mass employment. So all of the money will lose them work at the hotel, them at the call center, them.
Can't go work in a construction.
Right away. 3 months time.
Yeah, man.
And by that time, the hotels will be up.
Yep.
So you're bridging that gap, Mr. Prime Minister.
And here what happened. Here what we could also see coming out of that rally and Colin. We could also see some new emerging entrepreneur and so on create out of that, where people go into the construction sector recognize that, listen, boy, I may like this and thing like that, and decide to venture into it as a career.
Of course.
So the only possibilities
there. Multiplier effect on the economy. All the cook shop them would have run already and all that. They don't want to know what they're doing.
That is what you call the multiplier effect. Everything would start. People would also start having hope again.
Yeah, man. Correct.
But the big question, the big elephant in the room here, Raleigh and Colin, we are seeing this, and I know both of you are sportsmen, right? We are seeing this when I used to play cricket. We used to say, boy, we're seeing the ball as big as a breadfruit. That is when you walk down the pitch and you hit it to cross the boundary.
No,
right?
That time you see the ball big as a breadfruit. When we teach you cricket, you have to be at the crease for a while, batting properly. And then you start to the ball big.
No, but that's a given, Colin. That is when you're going to walk down now and hit it out of the park because you have been at the crease for so long. So I am saying that we are seeing this thing here so much, Colin and Raleigh. Why is it that the government of Jamaica, led by one Andrew Michael Brogard Radham Holness, not seeing it? Is it that they want to keep our people in perennial poverty and in our whatever, so they just don't have the interest to do this?
One simple word. One simple word, them done.
Incompetence. Boom, blatant.
Yeah, man, I'm done. Yeah,
man. Incompetence is on show. Because this is the second time that we see the Minister of Finance rally coming to the Parliament and have to be schooled by the opposition leader. What do you think what do you think of that rally?
I'm done, man. Well, as I said, I never see this finance minister get nothing right. When, as I tell you, the biggest thing when we get down the debt to GDP ratio, when we had the Petro Caribbean, yeah, we buy about 3 billion of debt for 1.5 billion. She say rubbish, yeah. Then when them come with the foolish 1.5, she say never there cost no money. Then she say 4 billion, she say billion. Then she say 6 billion. Then she say 9 billion. Then she say 12 billion. Then she say 16 billion. Then she say 26 billion. I will tell them from a force at 32 billion. She never get nothing right yet. So I'm not surprised about that.
But people keep forgetting that.
What I'm surprised about is that despite our track record, them still make our finance minister. So if you show you all them cupboard empty.
But Raleigh, who else there? Because Xavier Main is now
that's
being
why
charged.
That's why I said the cupboard empty.
Xavier Main is now being charged by the Integrity Commission.
Yeah, but even before him in charge, he don't know about finance.
Colin, I'm happy you raised that, Colin, because there are persons. I read Xavier's charges when it came out on air, and I was highlighting the point, and I was basically saying something as it relates to the deputy mayor in Spanish Town, Councillor Wilson. That who did not file on time and so. Raleigh, you are on top of these things and so on. Point out to the listeners and viewers the difference with a Xavier situation versus, say, the deputy mayor.
So I never that follow that one day.
You was following that.
I follow the macro economy. I never that follow that.
All right, fine. So because that's there are some things that one will have to understand.
Maybe I never look at them. I follow them money. Because as I said, them money not serve the purpose in the Ministry of Finance. So I'm really focused on them money.
Where is the rally? Man just collect them pay and serve no purpose?
Yeah, man. Them money know about finance.
But let me ask you about something. Because what Raleigh say is telling. The Minister of National Security did a surgery. The Prime Minister took over the portfolio. But there is a junior minister in the Ministry of National Security. The Prime Minister left and Babsy took over all the portfolio. Is the junior minister in the Ministry of National Security not competent to take on the ministry for a couple of days?
No. And then they just make up numbers. Yeah, man. No. That's why him do it. Yeah, that's why I'm taking it, because I know say she's not competent enough to do the job. Them things just make up number. All if I win, so we just have to find post for going on. Them just make up number upon the Jamaican people pay bill, man. Yep.
So why not they just leave them, make them be backbenchers? Why are you naming all these people ministers just raping the country?
Because of the internal politics, you have to give everybody something. And we pay feed. Yeah, that's not trying to tell you. The biggest cabinet in the history of Jamaica is we pay for the incompetence, because all of them win seats, so you have to find things and give them, to keep them things stable.
But that's not right, Raleigh.
No, it's not right.
The country.
But as I said, September 3rd gone, so shut them out. We just do whatever we want to do. I want to pay feed.
Hold on, there's something I want you to respond to, Raleigh. Wait, you never send it over. There is something I want you to respond to. Where is it? See it here? Because I hear a statement. I don't know if you hear it, Obi. It was made in the Parliament.
We deal with that from yesterday, man.
Which one?
We deal with that from yesterday, man.
Which one you talk?
The minister, when them asked her about the debt to GDP ratio, she said there are some people who call themselves the economists and analysts who just take the 41% decline from the GDP and say the GDP ratio is 115%. Yeah, so I'm telling the minister, said, I'm going to tell the teacher something. The man who have the highest pedigree in the field of economics, Joe Stiglitz and them man who are Nobel Prize winner. Yeah, Professor Stiglitz, who was the farmer. So even the little girl from the World Bank, what them have down there. Them people are friars in the World Bank hierarchy, you know. So to them love white people and them to them look up to everybody. Them little people that come down here and go at them important. In the scheme of the World Bank, share nothing. Stiglitz who used to run the World Bank, Jeffrey Sachs and them man there. Yeah? The experts them from the Philadelphia Fed. Amartya Sen from Cambridge University. Them man there say, yo, we're having a situation in the world now where natural disasters have become more frequent. So we have to find a way to measure the impact of natural disasters on the economy. So the whole thing with GDP, you know, where you only measure the economic losses, is garbage because them people create a whole lot of damage to infrastructure. And you can't produce nothing without infrastructure. So you have to calculate the infrastructure damage in the damage. So for example now, we see I say what them I said. You know, Colin, say you have a shop. Yeah?
Yeah.
Them only have to calculate the revenues where you lost in the shop as the contribution to GDP. No? Them now calculate say your shop mash up, your fridge mash up, and now you have to go rebuild them thing there. That gone forever. You have to get new money. The new money where I get enough. I have to rebuild things over there before and gone forever. You know?
8.8 million. Hold on. It's $8.8 billion worth of things we lose.
So the man say I have to take with that. Yeah? So what the man said, the measure what them I use flawed.
But
because all them I check is the money we lose in terms of where you sell. Then now talk about the capital stock where you lose, where you have to replace. All the money I borrow can't even replace the capital stock. We borrow 3.6 billion and we lose 8.8 billion in the capital stock.
But the Prime Minister same think we have enough. You remember Damien asked him if him think we have enough. Him say yes. You remember that? But this is what I want you to hear, Ralston. Not that me that talk about. This is what I want you to hear. And it's the finance minister again, people. The finance minister.
Madam Speaker, we only have to reflect that Jamaica's economy was surging before Hurricane Melissa. Yes, it was surging.
You heard that, Ralston?
No, what is that?
The Jamaican economy was surging before Hurricane Melissa. Let me see if we have a question for Raleigh. Hold on. Let me see if we have a question. Caller, morning. You have a question for Raleigh?
Yes, man. I just want to ask Mr. Hyman this real quick question.
Hold on. Hold on. You say you have a question for Raleigh. I want to make sure Raleigh can hear it. All right, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir Hyman. Yeah, man. So if the government ends up taking on part of the JPS restoration cost, which I know they will, based on the transaction, whether the 150 or the 350, and I don't know, maybe we'll hear more later. How does this impact taxpayer? Because they're not talking about that. And our debt to GDP trajectory, which the finance minister said is now what, 68%?
68.2. 68.2%.
Right. So are we risking financial or fiscal slippage, or is there room in the fiscal case for this kind of support?
All right. All right.
Question, Colin.
You hear him? You hear him, Raleigh? Yeah.
No, repeat it. Yeah, what's it?
Well, what he was asking about is the JPS money. The answer to his question, though, is that government is no longer going to lend JPS the money.
Right.
JPS getting the money now from the multilateral, and it is $450 million that they are going to get, caller. And that's why we say here on Portland Spice TV that the government has already given JPS the 8 to 10 years extension.
Yeah, man, because without that, them can't get it.
Them can't get it without that. So that's why we call it.
Okay.
Colin, you just played that tape there from the minister. Yeah. Everybody know that I kind of speak a little bit measured from time to time. But this one, I would prepare to say that the minister told and know that she tell even herself a blatant lie. Because there's absolutely nothing at all to show that the Jamaican economy was surging before Hurricane Melissa.
The
Raleigh,
economy was just crawling out of a recession.
Absolutely.
Somebody's reminding me that I said it a couple of weeks ago that the government now going to blame Melissa for everything. Yes,
yeah,
man.
That's true. Yeah, man.
But what was the state of the economy before Melissa, Raleigh? Give us a summary of where Jamaican economy was.
The economy
Melissa.
The economy declined by 5.5% during the third quarter of last year. Then it declined again by 2.4% in the fourth quarter, pushing us into a recession. For the first quarter of this year, them doctor the numbers and change the way they calculate the GDP. And this is something we'll teach the minister another lesson. Yeah? Growth is calculated on the basis of real GDP. That is GDP before adjustment, after adjustment to inflation. When we were calculating the GDP, we used to use the inflation number from 2007 to the current period. What them did at the first quarter is that them changed that to 2015. So they cut out all of the inflation between 2007 and 2015, and then get 1.1% growth for the first quarter and 1.6 for the second quarter. That's where we were before Melissa.
So we weren't surging.
Surging was why we were crawling out of a recession.
Even with the doctoring, Raleigh, even with the doctoring, we weren't surging.
It's still a crawl, yeah.
And the projection for growth was what?
Was 2.2% for the entire fiscal year. And the financial secretary now said that will be declining by 4.3%, which I still believe is conservative by the end of the fiscal year.
Raleigh, the Minister of Finance also told the Prime Minister on Tuesday that Jamaica's GDP is $20 billion US. Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct. But it is strange that the Prime Minister who talks so much about economics never know what is the country's GDP. That's alarming.
But how could our GDP be $20 billion still? Wasn't that what it was before Melissa?
Right?
Wasn't that what it was before Melissa?
Correct.
So how could it be $20 billion on Tuesday?
That's the point I'm making to you where I just said a while ago. The real economists and the real people in economics who talking about accounting for disaster, destruction. They do not agree that that would be the right measure because they say that it has to...
How can it be?
Yeah, correct. But two of them have this flawed thing. They must say, you as me, I tell you.
But Raleigh, we can't go with the flawed thing. We have to go with the real thing. There's
that
no
is why,
way
that is why
under the sun that your GDP could be $20 billion on the 27th of October and still be $20 billion on the 2nd of December.
I'm going to tell you why they get the 20 billion. The 20 billion is because they're not calculating the infrastructural damage as part of the damage. And that is why Stiglitz and them, man, they say it's rubbish them I do. Because that is something that is lost and lost forever. So, for example, all right, bring it down so that people can understand. So, if your house blow away and everything in your house mash up, them only check the money where they lose in your house, you know. Them now check your house will mash up and your fridge will gone and all of them something where you have to go buy back, you know. Them exclude that. So, the 8.8 billion infrastructural damage, them not check that.
But all right, Raleigh. But I'm sure you said flawed everywhere.
But I tell you say it's flawed. All of the big economists in the world say it's flawed.
But I'm sure you next way where it's
flawed. Including Ralston Hyman.
But I'm sure you next way where it's flawed, Obi. If you are only checking where you did for earn in at that time, there's a loss of earning in Jamaica since the hurricane.
Of course.
So
because you don't have the capital for make it produce.
But so even if you only check the earnings, it still couldn't be 20 billion. So
but you see,
every aspect is a bamboozling of the people.
Yeah, absolutely, Colin. And that is why, as Ralston described, the Minister of Finance, the hapless finance minister, would be able to come and give us at the higher end 68.2%. Give us that figure. While we were saying that, listen, the 40% or the 40+% is not taken into the calculation.
It's not included. And here again, you show up the lie where them do and get caught not everywhere. That 68% what she said, the 66% what she said the year after, and the 64% what she said the year after. When the man them asked her if she included new borrowing in that calculation, she said no.
I think she said some of it in there, you know. She said no,
No,
first.
man.
She said no first, and then she said some of it is in there. Some of it is in
that
there.
That is a catch-up statement.
Yeah.
When they do PAC, she said no. That's what a kind of catch-up statement. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Darlene said no a PAC.
Yeah?
Darlene Morrison said no, it not in there.
No, not in there.
And the money that the IDB come out and said them are going to lend.
DBJ, yeah, not in there either.
Not in there either.
Absolutely. The $10 billion. Rally talk, because that to me is one of the most glaring omission and error there. How could that $10 billion not
budget should be 39 billion rather than 29 billion addition? That may I try to tell them kind of mistake there. Investors get scared when them see them to the car, and say nobody in control.
So hold on, it's 10
nobody in control.
Hold on, it's $10 billion them never put in there.
Yeah.
Why me think I did 1 billion?
10.
No, man, $10 billion.
The 10 billion. And Raleigh, we spoke to the take up of the additional 2.5 trillion or something like that, right? That would left after the JPS offload their 450. These are some of the things, Raleigh, that would make investors be skittish in terms of taking up that 2.5 billion or so.
Yeah, man. Yo, bottom line, too much incompetence now at the Ministry of Finance, brother. In a them crucial time, yeah, you need a finance minister who on top of the job. We have a big problem, brother. The finance minister not competent, and that's a major problem for the country at this time. And that's going to be a major problem for investor confidence. That's going to be a major problem for mobilizing the remaining 2 billion out of the 2.4 billion, because this finance minister don't inspire no confidence.
But in the scheme of things, Raleigh, of the 35, who outside the favor you think could matriculate to the Minister of Finance?
Them not have nobody, brother. And the people them should have considered that before September 3rd. Them not have nobody. Simple.
So you think, Raleigh, if they are to be truthful and to look at the good of Jamaica, we could very well see somebody ask to step aside and they bring somebody out and we see a by-election in order to get a competent finance minister?
Well, yeah, but now the people of Jamaica should consider that. This government should never be the government because of what was happening at the Ministry of Finance. So what happened now is that the Prime Minister I try to run the Ministry of Finance, and then when the people are asking him, so the Finance Minister will provide you the details. The Finance Minister have no details to provide anybody with.
My God.
Raleigh.
Yeah, man.
The BOJ is running ahead that they are taking care of inflation. There is their responsibility to ensure that inflation is kept under control. Is that the BOJ's responsibility?
Well, they've narrowed down the BOJ and the IMF directive for that alone. Internationally, other central banks focus on economic growth with price stability because that's the original mandate of a central bank. You can't just focus on inflation. You also have to focus on job creation and economic growth. What the central bank is doing is continue the same policies that it had before, Melissa, and that is going to help to hold back the economy and make the recovery process longer than it needs to be. Yeah?
Good.
So they should be pushing for growth.
Yeah, man. So them should be lowering the interest rates and get two opportunities from the Fed to lower the interest rates and them don't do it. Them should be putting more pressure on the banking sector to lower the interest rates. All them today would expect the minister to come, a good minister of finance to come to the parliament with them thing there on Tuesday, you know, rather than the foolishness where this minister come with.
But what sense it makes, Raleigh, lowering the interest rate when the commercial banks will not lower the interest rate?
I tell you, Colin, say a good finance minister would have been talking with the commercial bank and giving them the carrot and the stick for bringing down the interest rate. A good finance minister. Yeah.
I have one more question. Obi, go ahead.
Yeah. Raleigh, we know that the agriculture sector is one of the linchpin to really move the country forward and for us to get back in terms of food security. We know that based on what happened with some amount of importation of vegetable and other stuff and so coming in, especially for the Christmas season. We saw reported in the paper on Thursday that the minister said that they import things like vegetable, eggs, and other things in the country. What should we be looking for, and who, in fact, should be given those licenses for parity in terms of bringing in those goods into the country, and what are the red flags there?
Well, those things are things that they're going to give to their friends. Those things should go to the people who are in agriculture, the farmers and the egg producers. So if I were finance minister or prime minister, my priority would be to revamp the housing, agricultural sector, infrastructural sector as quickly as possible. Work should be going on with those things right now because them crops are 6 weeks crops on them today. So the tractor them should have run down the whole place already. Yeah? The house them should have started build already because we have local capacity to do them today. Because we have to get back those sectors quickly on track so that we can get the economy back on track and get back the farmers them to work. Agriculture at 8% of GDP, 250,000 persons. Construction at 10,000. 10% of GDP, 110,000 persons. So the priority should have been getting back those sectors running already, rather than talk about importation, because all we're going to do is waste a little money with import. And that's why the governor talk about him support the thing with foreign exchange, because him knows that he might come under pressure. So we might do him prepare for run down some more of the reserves and keep the economy at the same position. Them don't know what them doing.
What would these loans do to the reserve? One sec, Obi. As you're on the reserve, what would these loans do to the reserves, Raleigh?
It's all got to the reserves, but you spend at the same time. So that's how we said in, out. If you continue to import at the same level or expand, because you have to expand import. So the money we I get out of the whole 415 million we I get from the IMF, or just be in, out. We don't want it to be in, out. We want to start use it to ramp up production and generate more foreign exchange.
Go ahead, Obi.
My final question for you, Raleigh, because I gather you may be leaving shortly. In terms of, we are 5 weeks on in the hurricane. How would you grade this whole administration so far in terms of the recovery process?
So that again, Obi. We never get that good.
We're 5 weeks hence since Hurricane Melissa. How would you grade this wholeness administration in what they would call
going at that man? The whole country tell us that poor man. Only them alone believe.
No, but I want you. No, Raleigh, but I just don't want to hear you say poor. I want you grade it out of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest.
2. But I give them 2.
Boy, you're generous, bad.
Yeah.
2, you're kind.
But I give them 2 maximum.
My final question, Raleigh, and I want you to explain for us, because there are a lot of people out there who are saying the government doing good and praising the government. As it relates to this amount of money that we're going to get, what are the dangers that we can face? Because we also know that this money can give us the kind of bump that we really need to drive the economy. But what are the pros and the cons of this money? What are the pros and the cons of this money?
Well, the pro is that it can help you to recover. Remember, it's recovery, because I'm always mix up recovery with growth. Growth is different from recovery. Growth means that you have get more power than that before. You use that money for replace what you lose. That's one. 2, that's the pro. The con is that you have an incompetent minister of finance, and there's no transparency and there's no accountability. So we need a broad-based epoch type national committee that Peter Flynn did create in order to ensure that the monies are spent properly. If the monies are not spent properly, it would put our children into deeper slavery and a worse living conditions than us. Simple.
Colin?
Yes, Obi.
Can I just weigh in on another, just quickly, one other layer of the con? The con is also during disasters like
so hold on,
these.
Obi, hold on. So I can let Ralston go, right?
No man, weigh in on what I'm going to say and
Okay,
tell me,
go
and
ahead.
then we can leave it. Another layer of the con is that during time of disasters like these, it basically give leeway for the largest corruption to take place in terms of
man.
people siphon off things and all sorts of things. Is that so, Raleigh?
Yeah, man, and that's why we need a broad-based national committee to ensure accountability and transparency. We want the Auditor General upon that committee, we want the builders upon that committee, we want academia upon that committee, we want the trade union people on that committee, we want the churches upon that committee. Yeah, because that is one of the things that come out of it if we're not vigilant. Yeah.
And of course, government and opposition on the committee.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right, my brother. Respect and thanks, Raleigh. We'll talk.
Blessed love. Yeah, man. Cool.
Yeah, man.
Hear the man, Raleigh. Respect.
Ralston, I man. Yield the man. 876-804-7072. We're taking your calls now because, as I said, we're not going to be on tomorrow morning. So we're taking all of the calls them right now. Conrad O'Brien, Colin Bell. We're live on Portland Spice TV. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Bell. Morning.
Yeah, man. Go right ahead. We have Conrad O'Brien as well.
Yes, sir. You know, me now you're not talking about is in the contract where I was signed now with JPS. Why there's something there tricky. Some things need to be nice for the Jamaican people where who have solar can get metering and them something there now.
Well,
if that now in the contract we're gonna suffer.
One of the things that I was asking and I was hoping in that video that I made that said JPS going to get 8 to 10 years is that I am hoping that the changes that was needed, because what the minister had said is that they would not renew the license under the same terms and conditions. I am hoping that we had a chance to get some of those terms and conditions changed and JPS would have agreed to them. So that is why we are saying that the government need to come forward now and tell us about the deal with JPS. What deal have they struck with JPS? What are the terms and the conditions of that deal?
Yeah, man. Some provision need to be nice for the common man because I've grade 11 years now. And no matter how much power I have, I can't give my neighbor. To extension, give my neighbor. You know? We can charge me electric car overnight at a cheaper rate and them something.
So you are saying that you are off the grid for 11 years?
Yes, man.
Boy, you must be saving a fortune.
Millions, man. I'm the proudest accomplishment in our life.
Yes.
Ever proud. Yeah, man. And achieve an electric car now, when we want to be able to do, like when we're abroad, we can do it. Is the excess power when we make in the day, send it back to the grid, which is high demand, and use it back in an overnight to charge me electric car.
Those are the things that Philip Paul had in mind.
Yeah, it's called.
Hold on, Obi, you want to come in?
It's called wheeling. It's called wheeling. So what the caller is saying, and that's an excellent point he's making, because as Philip was saying, is that you could sell the excess to the JPS grid. However, this caller is saying that, listen, what he would want to do is to move it over to JPS and have it there so he could get back that now as you know, to charge his vehicle. JPS invariably would probably benefit from some, but at least he would get back a portion to charge his vehicle. Excellent point you're making there, caller. And these are some of the things, Colin. These are some of the things that we would expect outside of the 10-year expansion for JPS. We would expect that all of these things would be wheeled in or to be interwoven into the negotiated contract. And we're hoping, Colin, that we get, and this is why we say at all time, Colin, that we are asking ministers of government to speak to us, because we will ask them these pertinent questions on behalf of the Jamaican people. It's not that we want to badge on government ministers. We want to ask questions that the people need to know the answer. And once again, we make that plea, Colin, for the minister, Vaz, Fable, all of them, to talk to us.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, one more quick thing.
Go ahead, Colin.
Yes, man, good point. And one more quick thing. When we see people, as what the generator, the gas generator thing. I have a cousin at Cholani, and they have a generator. And set of cost him roughly about 5,000 a day. What we had needed was solar generator, a 2,000 watt solar panel, right? With a 2,000 watt solar panel with one 700 watt system could have easily sufficed for the little people. That is what was needed.
But the only problem with that though is the cost to install it. The first money there.
I saw Colin, something that we probably need to look at. I saw on the international network, the CNN, the MS Now, and so on, advert they're taking place with and probably that's what the caller is talking about. Those, and it's small generator in size, but they're powerful and they are solar powered. And I think they come with they are sold with the solar capacity to
with the panels.
The caller probably more intimate with it. You know exactly what I'm talking about, caller?
Yes, man, of course. And that is what we need. We need that. We need to start teach the populace about solar, because that's the only way the country, one of the main way we are going to escape from the poverty and all of that. We have sunshine every day.
Yes, man.
We have some other countries with least sunshine capitalize, and we, for the past couple of years, we're really disappointed that the government, the government push solar at all. I mean, they have
not pushed any kind of renewable, and that's why we are paying so expensive for electricity in Jamaica. All right, caller, thanks much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
876-804-7072, that's the number to call. This is the Colin Show. We have Conrad O'Brien with us this morning. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Colin, each time we get the opportunity, we have to drive home this point, because we want our people to understand that Jamaica has regressed rather than progress. When the People's National Party, and this is not politics, it's just a matter of raw facts, data. When the People's National Party leave office, the cost per kilowatt hour to produce electricity was 24 US cents. No, and this is before any hurricane, whatever. It was almost 50. I think it's 46, 47.
Anywhere between 45 and 50 cents US per kilowatt hour.
Per kilowatt hour. So when we and it's as a result of the fact that this government has not invested any form of renewable energy at all. Remember that the wind farm, the Wigton wind farm, and all of those things that they have basically privatized and so on. The solar, nothing like that happened. So we have to basically call Darrell to books and tell him, say, listen, his vocabulary a few bad mind, not going to cut it.
Let's go to a call. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, morning. Well,
yeah, man, go ahead. Yes, sir. If you listen to the TV in the background, you're going to get thrown off, yeah? So you have to just mute the TV and listen to the phone.
Yeah. I said, why them never do solar instead of generator? Wouldn't it be cheaper?
Yeah, but in the long term, in the short term, I think the regular generator might be cheaper. In the short term.
With the generator.
But in the long term, the solar generator would be cheaper. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think the government should be teaching people through heart how to build solar panels. Well, I don't see that happening.
You see, those are things that was all in the plans of the People's National Party to do, And like me, a man said last night, if PNP did win, no governor, no hurricane will come. I've been saying that long time. No, if PNP did win the election the 3rd of September, we wouldn't get Melissa. I tell you that.
I believe so too. I think God will give them a beat. So
Yeah,
all that what happen is a lot of little things happen around the election that is unseen or unnoticed, you know?
Yes, man.
So, but generally, there's a lot of youth in Jamaica who literally going idle. And through heart, trust, there should be some form of training the youth them to build solar panel, which would automatically bring down the price of solar, you know, over time.
Yes, yes. But it is something that we should be doing as to save foreign exchange and to top up our energy. But thanks for the call.
Yeah, all right.
Blessings. 876-804-7072. Hello, good morning. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Yes.
Morning, Conrad. Morning.
Morning, my dear.
You know a question I want to ask. I don't know if me fool, but listen this. I understand say the OUR is funded by the utility companies. Then my question is, if I them pay me I go defend them, me not go back the people them. If I so be the case.
Yeah.
So it don't make sense to have an OUR. Because if OUR is there to defend the consumer, and then at the same company appear the OUR. Now, what that say? He must defend with what he might getting food.
Oh yes.
In a layman terms.
Well,
just like in the security company.
But hold on, caller. The companies don't pay the OUR at their whims and fancy, you know. It is a regulated law that them have to pay the money. So and I tell you something. In fact, maybe we pay them directly. If you check your bill, you might find a line item on your bill that said this is what go to the OUR. Like there's 20 cents on most of us bill, maybe 40 cents per mine will be that go to the insurance. Are we pay GPS insurance to, you know?
Jesus.
So yeah, man, all of those. But I'll say this to you. I am not. There a lot of people have the view that you share. However, I don't think so, because as Colin pointed out, it's really a regulated situation, and it's basically enshrined there. So it's not at the whims and fancy, and that money, as Colin said, really and truly, it's really from us. The charge that the utility companies are charging up, it is factored into that to pay the OUR. So we are expecting that we have honorable men and women should be at the OUR who will ensure that they are on the side of the Jamaican people. And just for example, even this week here, when the OUR come out and really say, listen, they can't verify where the utility companies are in terms of the recovery process. That's an honest statement as well, coming out of the OUR. So I'm not going to be seeing, you know, I don't know that I want to just say because they are being paid by the utility company, because I gather that this is what happened the world over, where, you know, that's how it goes.
That is
but that's the point you're making. It's a good point you're making.
Excellent, super excellent job. Because with what you clarify now, me and others can identify, understand it straight.
You get a different
what
understanding.
You're saying, I give you what I get from it. We then you are get paid from our bill.
Yes.
So basically, I will still pay them.
We are paid.
But you will come through. But it still come through them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Full understanding. Just like in the security, but now the security companies them, I make you one drama. You have a body when you in PSRA, Private Security Regulation Authority, where we have to pay. We the security have to pay. We have to make sure say we register. But guess what happen now? Them can't defend with anything because the owners of the security company is on the board of the PSRA.
So no security guard not upon it.
Me no think so. They go think they do it with you. If you went to your license near up, you get text message. And if you up, you get text message. But if there's an incident, accident, or anything, nobody from the PSRA no come defend you. You
No,
so
man,
happy, me no.
security.
Let me tell you now.
Hold on, caller. Go ahead, Obi.
Yeah.
So who represent the security guard on that body?
Good question.
Somebody must. You must have representatives on it because we not pay the money, so you must have people on it.
Yeah, man. You should.
All right, listen now.
Because it would be like
back
a board.
Back then, you used to have PSR, or whatever people. They used to show up on your location without notice and then come have a dialogue with you, the security officer, on location. Question you ask you, how you find the location, this, that, and you tell them. They're not giving no notice. But nowadays, for the past 10 years, 8 years, nothing like that. You used to their work, how you look, you see, Mary or John turn up. Good morning. I am so-and-so from the PSRA. Need to get some information, some background check. See what is happening with you guys. If you have a report, you give them and them address it.
Well, we have to call upon a representative. We have to call upon a representative. But we'll take our next call here. Call upon a representative. You must have a representative on the board. Yeah, man. This is the Colin Bell Show. We're live on Portland Spice TV. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Colin.
Welcome.
And Obi.
Good morning.
A two-part question, you see. I wanted to ask Ralston, but I'm sure that you guys can answer it. Seeing that the fiscal rule is being suspended, you see, what effects it's going to have on the economy, and how can we hold the government to account, seeing that they have no interest in forming that committee, that the oversight body. And second, not knowing the condition of the loan that was given, is there a possibility that the government can use this new money that they're getting as a loan to pay off part of the old loan that they have? That's my question.
You want to go first, Obi?
Yes, let me attempt. No, I don't think that they can use this loan to pay off part of the old loan that they have. And also the question that you asked about the fiscal rule being suspended and so on. Those are things that happen in time like this. However, as you saw in the House last week, Tuesday, where I think it was the opposition leader of opposition business in the House, Philip Powell, or was it the opposition leader, who asked for the document, or it was Julian, asked for the document to be shared with all the parliamentarians so they can look at it to see that it met all the criteria for the rules to be suspended, because there's a rule of engagement as to how and when you suspend those fiscal rules there. So that has not, as far as we in the public domain, we don't know if those were supplied, because it was late in the piece in the closing of Parliament that the opposition leader asked for it to be circulated, or Julian, don't remember exactly which one of them. So we await next Tuesday to see if we will get the clarity on that, because on the face of it, with a Cat 5 hurricane, we would think that the criterion would have been met, but we want to see it in writing, and that is why you want now to see the oversight of all of the various bodies, which should include the opposition and so on, and other persons being on this with a laser-like focus to ensure that no hanky-panky is taking place when these rules are being suspended. And that's why I said my final thing to Ralston, when I basically add that in time like this, disaster situation and so on, then you can have the greatest level of corruption in any country. Not just Jamaica.
The thing about the fiscal rule being suspended, that is now going to need governance, good governance, transparent governance, and a governance who is willing to open themselves to the accountability that is necessary. The money though, Obi, I think the money, most of the loan is for balance of payment. There are parts of it that is for balance of payment, and of course some for rebuilding the destruction. So I don't think it can pay off the whole debt, but it can help with balance of payment when payments start. One of the questions that we have to find out from the government: will the government continue this forward paying of the loan, paying more than they need to pay on the loan? That is one of the questions that we must ask and need answers for. We have another caller. Caller, morning.
Morning.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for having me, and good morning, Mr. O'Brien, and all the callers and listeners on the chat. I just want to follow up on a question that the lady prior to this one called about the NOC with the JPS. Now, if Miss Burchell did not ask or hold NOC head to account in the PACC or whatever
hold on.
that...
You mean the OUR?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. I'm in Alberta.
So you mean the OUR?
Okay, yes, in OUR, because I'm not hearing you clearly. Let me turn you up. Maybe you're too low. Okay.
Yeah,
you're
right.
hearing me good now?
Yeah, man, we're hearing you good all along. But just listen to us on the telephone. Don't try to listen to us on the television that you're watching us on. Just stay upon the...
wait, it's my... Okay, there.
Mute that and
there.
listen to me on your phone. Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, now. Yes, you're right. I'm hearing you clearer now.
Yeah, man.
So the question is, if Miss Burchell didn't ask that key question, the Jamaican people, even me paying mom's bill from overseas, we would never have known that they did not have the capacity for oversight, because he's saying they lack workers
Manpower.
to confirm or verify certain things that was missing with the JPS. They didn't have the verification, so they were going off what the JPS gave to them. So that's my insight on this. So Mr. Bell, that question needs to be answered, because
they answered it. What do you mean it needs to be answered? They answered it. They said they don't have the human capacity.
I think what happened though, Colin,
I mean,
the caller
in this
is
new contract. In this new contract.
Hold on, caller.
In this new contract that they're giving them.
I think what happened is that the caller, in my understanding, is that caller is taking it a little bit further, because what the JPS basically, the OUR basically confirmed is that what JPS is saying, are the utility companies saying no, as it relates to the recovery process from Melissa. They don't have the capacity to verify that. But I think the caller is adding an additional layer to it now, to say that if they don't have the capacity to verify that, is it that there are other information that is coming through from the utility company, that because of the lack of manpower, they may not have the capacity to verify as well? Am I clear there, caller?
Yes, you are, because if prior to Melissa, you have that shortfall. And now we are in post Melissa, which is recovery stage, and we still have that gap, and nobody is trying to fill it or even pushing for it. The government isn't even taking to acknowledgement, as Miss Burchell bring out. Listen, we still are going to pay more, and the thing is, they are accountable to the customers, because of the customers them is paying JPS and the investors. So the customer is entitled to that question being answered and measures immediately put in place to overcome that gap. Because it makes no sense going forward, giving them this whole millions of dollars, and we have to pay for the loan for JPS this way again. And the company that we appear for oversight is what? Them our Papi Show? Come on.
By the way,
unacceptable. Have a good follow up on this, Mr. Bell. I know you will get in that nitty gritty. You and Mr. O'Brien and all the others that have the same question as Miss Nikisha Burchell.
Before you move, caller, is this my caller from She gone. I was wondering if this is the caller from our friend Dr. Simpson's constituency that reside in Canada, because there are so many people that we have from Canada that basically tune into us, Colin. Now let us heal up all the diaspora listeners this morning, Colin.
Yes, man. Give a thanks. And we just ask all the people on the live right now to just share the live. All of the Portland Spice ambassadors, just make a share. Just go in your contact, share the live with somebody. We're taking another call. 876-804-7072. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Yes, sir.
I have a few things I want to say.
Go ahead, man.
Talk? Yeah, all right. I was in a parliament when Vaz came in there and make a bag of nice about what them are going to do for JPS. You see, I went on my website and I look on JPS website, and JPS say they can 60 odd workers before the storm, temporary poleman, right?
Yeah.
And the amount of the amount of poleman that they had before was 600 and odd. So with where they can make it 700 and odd. In a parliament, was quote a figure of 100 and odd poleman, where drive big man with drive white.
Yeah, because some did come after the hurricane. You see those trucks coming off of the ship and man them, yeah. Some did come after the hurricane.
Yes, but the figure where they quote. In quote 400 and odd, it will make it be 400 and odd, and when you say 400 and odd, man pan post what way. While JPS I tell you they have 700 and odd before.
Yeah, but what Vaz is also saying that 300 more is going to come after them give JPS the 150 million US.
But him said the 300 will carry it up to him. He said we JPS have 100 and odd, and the 300 will carry it up to 400 and odd.
What the caller is saying,
when you on JPS website, they have over 700 before that.
Yeah, but some of those are Jamaicans who are always here. That's my understanding.
They're not Jamaicans we attack.
Yeah.
So when but him quoting a parliament say 100 and odd we have, Jamaican,
Him did say 100 odd Jamaican. I don't know if him did say 100 odd Jamaican. I think him say 170 that came from overseas. And there's going to be another 300
will come from overseas.
No, man. Him said there's 170 already here. And when they give them the 150 million US, 300 more going come. Within another 2 weeks.
So we would now have 470.
So the 400 odd we might talk about are foreigners.
Would be 470 because we have 170 plus another 3 to come. So that would be
470. So that would be added to JPS permanent staff that they have here.
JPS 700. So
you can't go back and look through it. We are making mistake. The next thing, I am looking at how the Prime Minister try to convert the things them that him get in a cash.
Might try convert when him get in a cash. I understand that.
Yeah, all right. For example, you say you go stack out some of the shop them. You give them, you lease them Delco. You go give them Starlink. You give the customer them food stamp to go collect food. Those food stamp I go convert. I have to go to a bank or something to convert back to cash.
Yeah, man.
So that means that the food where we get figured out free. You might go convert it in a cash guy. If you give food stamp already,
excellent question.
You might go to them the shop go collect them on time, Time and tell them if you have them backyard and all these things, we send you money.
That's
willing to give nothing.
Hold on the caller. Go ahead, Obi.
That's Colin, it's a question, and this is where we need clarity, because when I heard the Prime Minister talk about the voucher or the card that will be given out, I asked the question, how, because these food that will be out there in the corner shop or whatever it is, toiletries, personal stuff and so on. Those things that will be, the card will be given out to have a monetary value on it.
Yes.
how will that basically compare? Because remember that these things that are out there giving out, they are free stuff. We get these by way of contribution. But the Prime Minister is putting a monetary, a dollar value to it. So that dollar value that will be put out to it now will it say that, listen, the government of Jamaica will be giving out, say, $10,000 per person, and then there would be a cost from the government coffer that will be add to that to say, listen, this, so we'll give out $1 billion to out there in food stamp, and that $1 billion basically come out of whatever fund the government have. Because I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. That is where we need the information. We need the answer. What's your understanding, Colin? How do you understand it?
One of the things that the caller, you have a noise in your background. Just keep it quiet for me. One of the things that the caller is adding is that this food stuff that the government get, they're going to use that for stock out the shops. I don't think so, caller. I don't think so. Caller?
So where the goods are coming, we're going to stock the shop them.
So people have to stock.
Hold on. Wait there, 1 second. 1 second. Remember, in a one of him statement, him say all of the stuff we ain't get is in a inventory and up a camp, That I want to undo one statement, So he put everything. So yeah, that's what him said.
But they are handing out, they are handing out care packages with those food callers. So I don't believe that the government is going to give a shopkeeper flour, rice, and so the shopkeeper will have to stock their shop. So
no, Colin, that's not what the Prime Minister said. The Prime Minister said
from Grace Kennedy or from the local, even if you do it from Grace Kennedy or the local people, it will come at a cost.
Hold on.
No, the Prime Minister.
Hold on, Obi. Teach me, tell me if me don't understand. So what you both are saying is that it is the government that are going to stock out the corner shop them at no cost?
Yeah,
I don't know how it's going to happen, but the Prime Minister said they will stock the corner shops. No, as far as I'm concerned, hold on. As far as I'm concerned, there are things that are still coming in on a daily basis and things that are being given to the government locally. So the question is, and we're asking, are those the goods that are going to be sent to the corner shop? Because what I also hear is that what happened, the stuff will be sent to the corner shop, and what you will have is, is it that the proprietor, the owner of the shop, they will just be asked to distribute these things and they will be paid to do it? We don't understand.
It's a whole heap of question, because that was not my understanding. My understanding is that the voucher or the card would be like money or like a credit card. You go to the shop and you buy what you want with it.
No, sir.
Hold on. Let me just tell you what when we get. You go to the shop and let's say your card have $10,000 upon it, or the voucher is a $10,000 voucher. You can get whatever value for the $10,000. The shopkeeper would then now take that to the bank and get back them cash and do business. So it's just like the government would be giving you money to go shop. That's my understanding. Me never understand the government they go use the stuff them we then get from abroad and put in at the shop. Me never understand that.
We not say 100. We not say 100% of that I go do, but whether I get different grades, faces or anyway. Implant say I go stock a shop and you have your star, you go your Starlink, you go lease your Delco, and you have your bank system up. That means that you have to go transfer you have to do banking with the bank with your card. That means that you might try convert all of the things to cash.
All right, caller.
What I would say,
understanding.
All right, we have to go find out. You realize what that means, Obi?
That is exactly. I think you and I are on the same page with that, Colin. What happened? Because if you and I can't, if so many of us are having a little bit of variance and so on, it simply means that the information is not crystal clear, and the Prime Minister and the government need to the Prime Minister or the person who is responsible for information, they need to come and speak to the Jamaican people so we have full clarity on this, because it's important. It is very important.
Go ahead, caller.
Doctor.
Yes, sir.
Morning, my little brother.
Morning. Wagwan,
OBA, big up yourself. Morning.
Where's the Papa?
All right. The caller that just came off the line, actually, the caller that actually just came off the line, actually just cover one of the topic that I was going to call you about. Because I listened to the speech, and I was wondering if the Prime Minister is planning to sell to the public, the people of Jamaica, the goods that the people from overseas send to him. Because if he's gonna stock the shops, the corner shops, and he's gonna then issue to the citizens a voucher, that means that money gonna go back to him, even in taxes. So that is what I was gonna.
May I listen?
That was what I think I was concerned about. Where is he gonna get that material to stock the corner shops?
Or is it that the government is just gonna give corner shop an assistant, maybe give them $130 or $150 or $100,000 and say help bring back your business on foot?
That is one I think I would like to get clarified by the government. How is he gonna stock the corner shop? Because up till now, I am not sure if I hear much about how much of what donation was given has been already been given to the citizens of Jamaica.
Well, the government said in terms of monies that they have collected, they have not spent anything from it thus far. They have been spending from the consolidated fund, and we still need to know how much them spend already out of the consol fund.
And why would the government lease the generators if the government get it to assist the people? Why don't he make an inventory, and as soon as they get back electricity, him take back in generator? Why have to lease it to them?
No, man, him not charge them for it, and him a lend them. It's a loan. Him a lend you the generator.
Oh, I thought he said lease.
No, it's a loan. Him a lend it to you.
It's a misunderstanding. A lot of people said because the Prime Minister used the word loan the generator, they took it that he mean loan in monetary term. It means lending. It will be lending. Lending.
You have me covered right there, Obi.
Right. So it's the generator I'm a lend you.
Okay, great.
Because let me just say this, Colin. Sorry, caller. Let me just say this, and we invite everybody to come on over here and listen to us. We say when Colin is on or Obi is on my channel or on radio, please listen to us, because we have one vested interest for proper and accurate dissemination of information. We are not going to jump on something because somebody say it and it may get against the government, and that is why even now we're adding this clarity to say that no, it is not about loaning that the Prime Minister is talking about, so you will pay money for it. It's lending the generator to the people. But I also want to say, Colin, that the point that you just made in terms of the government assisting the corner shop people who operate these small corner shop and so on, it's an excellent route to go, because remember now that all of these corner shops have been demolished, both building and everything, so they need to rebuild the building. So the first place, they need to get some assistance and get the building back up, and also to get them started again, because they would have lost so many all of their inventory. So therefore,
everything gone.
Yes, so so it's a good point, Colin. So let's see if all of those things now will factor in. And remember that the monies that come in, by which the government said they don't touch as yet, Colin, that's an excellent pool, or that's an ideal pool of fund to start helping.
Well, they said that will be used to buy material, building material. Carla, you have anything else to add?
Yeah. The other thing is, what's the average watt needed to run an upscale house in Jamaica.
Right.
Generator I'm talking about.
None of we are no electrician like that, but I have maybe a 5 kV could have run in the average house. I have a 6,500 watt that runs my entire house.
And my question for that is that we are jumping on the solar generator, but I don't think there's any solar generator that goes over 600 watts.
Over how much?
And
over how much, Carla?
Over 600, he said. He said over 600.
All right. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Colin, morning to you and OB.
Yeah, man.
Good morning.
Yeah, man. All right, this is 2 previous callers. I think they're on point. You see, when the Prime Minister made the announcement, the man said, boy, everybody take the picture and all them thing there and whatever happened. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to a voucher system. So what am I going to do? You see, goods when we get from the people in my foreign and as donation, in some of you use stack out the corner shop and you use voucher or collect them.
I'm not saying that's not it. Okay.
Colin, hold on a sec. He said people are going around and take picture on the dignity and the this and the that. So he's going to start give the care packages. What he's going to do, instead of give out the care packages, he's going to use the care packages and stop the corner shops. Give you, Colin, OB, and myself a voucher, and we go to the corner shop, present the voucher, and collect the goods. That's what he said.
All right. We need to get the understanding. So, Minister of Labour, you are required.
And the 2 previous callers and myself, we are saying if you get the goods to give away, how come monetary value will get involved now that you will give voucher? Because once you give voucher means cash, mean money.
Yeah.
So who
but look here. If the Prime Minister is going to stock out the corner shop, then I guess him going to pay the people for distribute the goods there. Now, it not necessarily have to mean money. It's just that here is a voucher. You can't get more than this amount at this time. That one somebody not going to creep up everything.
That too.
So how the corner shop owner, how the proprietor will get compensation?
And what it could do, a part of that too, is that you'll be able to have that check and balance, because if you put the goods into the corner store, right, then the person that you put there for distribution of this stuff could come back to you tomorrow and say, listen, I handed out all of these stuff, and you wouldn't know who get it. But when the voucher,
if you're giving them a voucher, you'd have to put a value to whatever.
Yeah, man.
So this voucher can only give you this and that. So if you give all the stuff, you have to give me the vouchers to show for where you give out. So it's just like money.
Yeah, but hear what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you put a voucher, if you stock a shop with, say, $1 million, right? $1 million worth of stuff, the person who is in the shop could easily well say, listen, I distribute the $1 million stuff. The voucher system now would basically give a level of accountability for that. Check to say that get that.
Go ahead, Obi, finish up.
So there is the voucher thing can be a system for checks and balance to say that, listen, is 50 people, because remember every voucher would bear a name, or once somebody get a voucher, their name would be recorded there. So you'll be able to tally to say that Mass Joe, Miss Mary, and Miss White and things like that use their voucher. That's my understanding. However, I don't know how the place will be stopped. My information, my takeaway from what the PM said is that is the goods that them get, that's what they were going to be put into the store. Well, that's my understanding.
That is what we need clarification on. Go ahead, caller.
All right, what I'm saying, OB and Colin, if I'm going to stock out the corner shop, me and you know, say, every corner shop Every crevice and corner selling goods at different price. What am I going to do? Am I going to price the goods them?
That again.
And he's going, you get a bucket of water, OB get a bucket of water, OB sell water for $60, Colin sell it for $50. So I'm going to put a value to the good when get free. Him get the good free, you know. And I'm going to start the corner shop.
Well, Carla, I don't want us to determine that because I think we need clarification.
No, but again, Colin, the voucher would not bear the price that the item is to sell for, you know. The voucher would basically bear the nominal figure. So it would say $10,000 for a voucher. So if Miss Mary is selling 1 pound of flour for $1.50, right, and Miss Jane is selling it for $1, then you'll be able to get more flour from Miss Jane than Miss Mary.
Yeah. So you have to determine where you go with it.
So that's it. But certainly the fact of the matter, Colin, it go without saying that this need a whole heap of clarity. Whole lot of clarity. Because
man, respect me. I enjoy the show. Respect.
Blessings and thanks. We need the minister or somebody from the ministry to explain that. Because somebody in the chat room is also asking then if another goods them are gonna use stock out the corner shop them, where them are gonna do with the whole heap of goods with them get from abroad and all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You see, and I think in this case, Colin, the government operates with a minister of information. I think Dana has 2 deputies there with her. Yes, she has a minister, junior minister in Rhoda Moore Crawford, the MP for Central Manchester, and she has a parliamentary secretary in Senator Marlon Morgan. Therefore, and herself. So collate the information properly, right? And get either herself, obviously would prefer to talk to her, but either herself or one of her deputies need to come with the proper information, because the cabinet and the government will basically have the information together. We need, as a country, to have this information out there, because right now this situation is very untidy. What the Prime Minister means when he said he will be he will be moving from one situation to the other. We need to know.
Obi, it's 19 minutes to 12 o'clock. Look like wrap-up time.
Absolutely, Colin.
Anything you want to say before you go? Let's talk about the housing situation before you go, Obi. Because I don't believe that the government of Jamaica should go buy one container house carrier at this time. We are too late for container houses now, and we are going to be wasting foreign exchange to buy container houses that can't stand a Category 5 hurricane when we have the capacity to build concrete houses, deck the top them, that can stand the Category 5 hurricane and have our people in a good way, you know, to be safe and secure the next time a hurricane come around. We are calling on the Jamaican people. We're calling on the labor rights. Let your leaders know that the container house are not suited for Jamaica at this time. We need concrete and steel. Yeah? Concrete and steel we need, not container house at this time. So we need to sort that out. We need to sort that out. I want to thank everybody this morning. Thank Ralston. We were trying to get Dr. Gale. We never get him. I want to thank Ralston Iman for being on. Big up yourself, Raleigh. Yeah, man. Big up yourself. Ralston Iman always been here with us. One of our contributors. Conrad O'Brien. Look like he's a call him, take and drop off of the show. So I want to big him up as well and thank him for being here with us this morning. This has been the Colin Bell Show for yet another Saturday. Remember, if you know anybody down at West, if you don't know nobody down at West, touch base with us at Portland Spice and give them a light. We want to give them a solar light. The people down there, they are going to be in darkness for quite some time. And we just want to assist them by giving them a solar light, whether indoor solar, outdoor solar, that can light up their lives, you know, and make them more comfortable. We say we're finished, you know. But with us, go and try and take this one call, yeah. What go on, my brother?
Good morning.
We are Father Youth.
You on your program?
Yes, man. We're still on live. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to touch on the JPS matter.
Yes.
So what you guys need to know is that the Minister of Utilities, that's Darrell Vaz, he's just giving you guys the rope-a-dope. If you guys know what I mean by rope-a-dope, the fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman.
Baba and weave.
That's what he's giving you, because they have the blueprint for it. Because if you go back and look at Mr. Siag, with Mr. Pernell Charles back then was the Minister of Utilities and Transport.
Yes.
And go research. I tell people, go research. Mr. Siago, Faith Artella, who is Mr. Siago's sister, and who was the Italian ambassador back then.
Mm-hmm.
And Ansaldo, the power construction company out of Italy.
Yeah.
Go and research it. And then you will see how they're going to steal the money, because that was what was done during the 80s.
So you said during the 80s, money was stolen from the JPS?
Everything was stolen. When they left, JPS was just a shell. Remember back then, all they hear about is B6. They start calling it B6. That was what was happening, and that's what they're going to do this time. It's a rope-a-dope they're giving you guys.
So you are
they're
saying
just
that
causing confusion.
This thing with the JPS don't look good?
No, they're going to steal the money, because they did that before. I'm telling you.
How we are, sir?
I tell you yeah, that's what happened. People go back, look who is Miss Faith Artello, look at the relationship with Mr. Siaga, and look at the relationship with the Italian ambassador back then, and the construction company Ansaldo out of Italy. Go and look at it. And look at what happened and who was the Minister of Utilities and Transport. And if you guys can recall, there was the guy who was the president of the youth arm of the Jamaica Labour Party. They call it Young Jamaica back then. Go and listen to the archive. That was the man who went on Mutty Perkins' program, because he used to work with us at JPS.
Yeah.
He was at Systems Control. He went on Mutty Perkins and said the Minister of Utilities and Transport was just like a common pickpocket downtown. And it's the same thing with Darrell Vaz. He's just like a common pickpocket downtown.
And who was the
Prime Minister?
Who was the Minister of Utility and Transport then?
The man with the grey patch. That his son is a minister down in Clarendon. He was the Minister of Utilities and Transport. And he's the one who the man said it was like a common pickpocket downtown. Go and listen to the archives from Mutty Perkins' program.
The man is saying that they took JPS for a ride back in the 80s, and they are planning to take JPS for a ride again.
Same thing gonna happen. Just look who they're bringing in as contractors from overseas. Look at it and look how the money is gonna show up. It's the same playbook they have, same thing gonna happen. Mark my word. It's the same exact thing gonna happen.
Why, Obi?
Same thing.
You hear the man, Obi?
Colin, we continue to say that the trust in the government is very, very low, Colin, and it's not you and I making up that, but just listen to the people. It is quite evident. How do we fix that? That's a big problem. Colin, I was rapping to say that.
Hold on, Obi. Hold on, because who we have on the phone right now is an expert in the energy, in the field of energy. You know?
Okay, good. So let's
I want to ask him a few questions.
Good.
I have put it out there, caller, that the government have already extended the license for JPS. Some people is of the opinion that the government have somebody they want to sell JPS to. You think there are takers out there now for a JPS?
Let me explain to people what happened. JPS, Morabwena have the government of Jamaica right over a barrel. Anything JPS wants to do, they have to go with it. Because technically JPS values nothing right now.
Oh, yeah, sir.
There's no value to JPS right now. So whatever they want, the government has to go with it. So what people has to watch right now is what the government and the people in parliament, what they're gonna steal. from the money, the so-called money that they're getting from the multinationals.
So hold on. You are saying to us that nobody don't want JPS to buy?
No, why would you buy JPS? The only reason why the company Morant out of Houston, Texas bought JPS in the first case was because of the Petro-Caribbean deal. That was the only reason why JPS was attractive. After Petro-Caribbean, JPS is not attractive. The LNG that New Fortress Energy is on the verge of being bankrupt. I make money from them all Monday to Friday because I short their stocks.
So that you're saying
they're gonna go belly up. They have the same issue in Puerto Rico.
New Fortress. So you're the man that said, Obi, New Fortress are going belly up.
New Fortress. They're gonna go belly up. Their stock is like less than $1, a little bit over $1 US.
My expert
and
friend.
Ones who have the regasification plant and people don't know because a data center build out all over the world. The price of LNG is gonna go up. It's gonna triple.
Hold on, the caller.
Look at the few. Yeah.
Hold on, caller. Go ahead, Obi.
My friend, with all of what you just pointed out, you don't believe that in light of this, the government is in a privileged position, as it were, to negotiate the JPS license now. We understand that they will be giving them, say, 8 to 10 years, but also right into the new contract, things that will benefit the Jamaican people based on what you just outlined? You think they're in a position to do that?
The government should be, but prior to this, the government would have been in a better position, but now the government is in no position. They just got to do what JPS wants. That's all they got to do.
Why?
That's all they got to do.
Why?
Because what is the alternative? If Marbuena said they're gonna walk away from JPS, what the government gonna do? The government gonna take over JPS, and how they gonna run JPS?
So you're saying that right now JPS is in a stronger position than they were before?
No, they're in a worse position.
But what I'm saying,
the grid and in turn of the grid and the structure of the company.
Yeah, man. But what I'm saying,
negotiating position, JPS is in a very good position right now.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making.
If JPS said they're gonna walk away and leave it, who is gonna come?
Hold on. So there's two things that you're saying. One, JPS is not in a good position, but in terms of negotiating, do you think they're in a better position now than they were before?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yes, they're in a very good position. Okay. The government do have an alternative. Whatever JPS want, the government has to give it to them.
What he's saying
because there's nobody who is ready. Oh, I get the point. Because there's nobody who is ready
to take it
and willing to take up JPS. So the government
before the hurricane, the government was in a better position.
Yeah, man.
But since the hurricane, now we need current at any cost.
So
JPS have to buy the balls.
I understand exactly what he's saying.
But caller, I saw somebody just wrote in the chat room. The person said New Fortress Energy sold its Jamaican asset and operation to Accelerate Energy Incorporated for $1 billion in a deal completed in early 2025.
They sold it to them. No, they don't sold it to them. They are just the front people. Behind the back is New Fortress Energy.
So
it's the same thing they try to play out in Puerto Rico. Same thing.
So you're saying Accelerate Energy is really just fronting for New Fortress?
They're just the front. Yeah, they're
the parent company. Okay.
So caller,
just the front.
Just before you go then, what would be your recommendation to the Jamaican government?
What the government needs to do, the government needs to bring in what they call power traders, split the island in 3 phases, Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey. And then they have to they have to invest, give people soft loans, work with the banks, work with the builders, and then you set up what we know as rooftop generators. When you have rooftop generators, what you got to do, it's going to be less capital requirements to build power plants and all of that stuff, because private people have solar on their roofs and they're generating electricity, and then you set up what we call net metering.
Yes.
So the excess power that they generate, they'll sell it to the grid and they get monies for it. Or if they need power, you import it from the grid also. So it's a win-win situation. Win-win in that hundreds of millions of dollars that JPS would need to put in a combined cycle or simple cycle plant or whatever the case might be. They don't have to do that to meet the generation requirements, because ordinary citizens have solar
would
and
be generating
on their roof.
electricity. Yeah.
Say JPS needs, say the island requires, say, 1,000 megawatts. And you have people with the rooftop generators. They're generating 300 megawatts. That's 300 megawatts that they don't have to worry about building a power plant. The prime example of that, people just have to look at Germany. Look at Germany, what Germany is doing. And Germany is a far more advanced industrial country than Jamaica. Look what Germany is doing, and they're not blessed with the sunshine that we are blessed with.
Colin,
they're doing with renewables.
Colin, we touch on it.
Go ahead, Obi.
We touch on it a little bit. It's the same thing that we talk about, the similar thing you talk about in terms of wheeling, where that would basically be now sell to the JPS. That's the same thing you talk about. You're talking about. And what is it that we could see the same breaking up of the license, like we saw with the telecom license that Philip Powell had negotiated, where we move away from the monopoly? That's the direction that you're talking?
Yeah, if you move away from the monopoly, it's just like in the United States here, where you have power traders. So if we can get cheap power from where they have hydro up in the Northwest, we buy it from them and we send it all the way down to Florida or whatever. You buy it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have what they call base load generators. Like you have Old Harbor power station. They are base load generators. So at all times they're gonna be on. Then the other ones based on what the price of power is. Then you can't say you're buying from that one, you're buying from that one. So in that case, what's gonna happen? You're gonna require less LNG. If you're using bunker, see heavy fuel oil, you're gonna require less. In terms of diesel, you're gonna require less because you have people with rooftop generators supplying power. So you don't need to be running your gas turbine or your steam turbine or your slow speed diesel or your mid speed diesel.
Okay.
So you're saving. It's a win-win situation for everybody. The man with his rooftop generator is gonna recover his investment costs in terms of selling power. And it's more stable. So the government needs to do that. Just get in the business, split up the thing, get power traders, let the power traders do their thing. And then everything is gone, that the marketplace is going to bring down the price of electricity.
Because there would be competition.
That's how it is.
So caller, based on where we are now, you think the government is in a position to get this kind of deal out of the renegotiation with the JPS, in light of the fact that JPS is a going concern and what you're suggesting would take some time to come to fusion?
I can tell you, in my opinion, they can't get that right now, because the JPS is gonna dictate the terms of anything that's gonna go on. But one, you have to have people with integrity, and people, the country good and people with have knowledge of the subject to go and negotiate. I can tell you, I can personally tell you, there are people at JPS right now with the skill sets can do it right now. There are people in JPS right now can work on behalf of the government.
So we have
They have the skill set, but they're on JPS side. But right now, I know there are people who used to work with me, and they're right there now, and they can do it. What I'm telling you, they know that, you know. They know that. They know what I'm telling you. They know that. It's not a secret sauce.
Just before you go do, Matthew, you are saying that LNG is gonna go up, price is gonna triple in short order?
It must triple because the data center, they build out a data center. You have the hyperscalers, you have a Google, Meta, all of these people, Oracle, Amazon, everybody building AI data centers. AI data centers, you need power. And the quickest thing, the quickest power is to put up
LNG.
Gas turbines. Gas turbines and diesel is the quickest thing to put up. And where most of them running on is diesel or LNG. Yes, natural gas.
So LNG is going to be more in demand. That's what you are saying.
Yes, it is in demand. Yes. Right now, America export a whole lot of LNG to Europe. As Europe trying to wean themselves off of Russian gas. So a whole lot of that gas from out of the shale belt, the Bakken shale and all of that stuff. All of that gas comes into Louisiana and then export and most of it going to Europe.
All right, my brother.
That's where most of the gas going.
Respect everybody in the chat room, so I'm supposed to have your number. I'm telling you, so the man is an expert in the energy field. And me know who me I talk to. Bless yourself, no worry about it. I have his contact. We'll talk, brother. Blessings.
All right. Respect.
One love.
All right.
Take care. All the best. Yeah, Colin. Just a minute, because I know you. I lost you somewhere, so I don't know if you had basically rap. But
no, well, go ahead and do your rap.
All right. So, Colin, I want to once again just applaud your initiative that you launched there. Give them a light, because I can tell you that there are so many people, Colin, who are calling on me since they heard you launch that give me a light thing. So I am adding my voice to it to say, contribute to this project that Colin had launched. And of course, you know how to get in touch via Portland Spice TV. If you reach out to me, I will direct you to Colin so that you can basically do that. And remember that you can do it two-way. You can either donate the light directly, or Colin have mechanism that you can give the contribution so he can get the light. And he did talk to you about his connection in getting the lights at a particular price, and especially if you buy them in bulk. Also, I just want to use this opportunity, Colin, to say to your listeners and viewers that, you know, there's an interview that I did, I think it was on Wednesday, with Dr. Christopher Burgess, as it relates to the housing situation, concrete, block and steel versus the plastic, the container housing that would be coming in. It's up on my YouTube channel, Conrad Obi the Fireman. You can go there and you know, watch and listen to the entire interview with Dr. Burgess. And indeed, just to say to our people, keep the fire burning, keep hopeful, and I'm hopeful, Colin, that the powers that be from the opposition side and all Jamaica will join us, Colin, will join us in the proposal that we are championing, that we don't want to see one container house come in from Jamaica, but utilize our people, our material here, build out proper housing, long-term houses for our people, and indeed ensure that the multiplier effect in rebuilding the Jamaican economy start right away. That's it from me, Colin. God bless you, and indeed your listeners and viewers.
Thank you, Conrad O'Brien. Thanks very much. Once again, may the good Lord continue to bless and keep you all. May your face, make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again Monday evening for the Colin Bell Show. Remember, give them a light. Thanks, Obi. Thanks, Ralston. Thank you, Matthew. Big up yourself, my brother. One love. This has been the Colin Bell Show for yet another Saturday morning.